Yeah. Anyways.
Well, evening, everyone. Evening. Hope everyone's well this evening. We've got a banger of a show lined up tonight. As you can see, we've got some guests on already, and we shall say hello very, very, what's the word? In a minute when I finish talking. There you go. Phil's in as well now. We'll say hello in a minute, Phil. Listen, we've given the video the title, The Standards or Lack of Them at Tottenham. Now, we want to talk about this tonight. I spoke to Mark earlier on, and obviously Maz was on the show this morning, and with Mia and Sonny was on the show, and they was chatting about different aspects of the standards of Tottenham, whether that be from the owners, whether it be from fans, whether it be from fans that don't really understand what standards are at Tottenham, as in, like, there could have been fans back in the day that went home and away, totally invested in Tottenham, knew everything, what was going on, what was coming out of the media, all that sort of stuff. Whereas then you go to the fan that don't really take much notice all week, but he'll take his son to the football or his daughter to the football or their family to the football. They'll have a good day out and they'll go home. And that's the end of it. So there's many ways that we can look at this, and I want to go, first of all, I don't want to start on the owner side of it, because we talk about that a lot, and I think we all come to the same conclusion. And yeah, you're in, Phil. You're in. Okay. So anyway, Phil's putting me right off. I'm trying not to look at Phil on it. I'm trying to talk at the same time. I'm going to have to reset the phone. Let me mute Phil for a minute. Oh, can you mute Phil for a minute?
Before I reset my phone.
Because he can't hear us. That's it. He can't hear us. Anyway, I want to start on the fan side of it, because there's lots of different ways that people can look at this. And Maz, if you can explain again, because I'm sure there'll be a lot of people, and this will get the conversation going as well. If you can explain again from your point of view what you mean, what you think it means, and why the levels of standard have dropped from your point of view through the fans.
I think the genesis of the standards dropping at Tottenham Hotspur was when there was, post Irving Scholar era, and Venables coming in, and the power struggle that happened between Venables, Sugar, etc., and us nearly going into administration. That caused a lot of the fan base at the time to being distressed that we nearly lost our club, nearly went under, and obviously Alan Sugar came in, and look, I think Alan Sugar did do a lot of good for the club, more so the fact that he stabilized us financially, which was necessary at the time, and during his tenure, we did win actually 2 trophies, right? 91 FA Cup and the League Cup under George Graham. Now, the fans didn't take to Alan Sugar, and they vocalised their displeasure for him about how Tottenham Hotspur were performing under his stewardship, and they got him out. However, what happened after that period is that hardcore base of fans slowly got priced out of going to Tottenham Hotspur, because ENIC came in, and the way that ENIC ran the club over the next decade or plus, so a couple of decades, isn't it? 25 years. They've made it their absolute priority to gentrify effectively the area and the fan base to execute on their, Estelle would say, Levy land, right? Or ENIC land, their entertainment, NFL, sports, music venue. And over the course of the decades, the standards have been lowered because they focused on things like growing the revenues, growing the brand and the franchise of Tottenham Hotspur over and above winning trophies. Now, that didn't happen overnight. That was a slow erosion of the standards over a couple of decades. If you recall what we were like in the first 10 years, the fan base wasn't very forgiving of ENIC. And when we weren't doing well, that they showed their displeasure. But what I would say, and in fairness to ENIC, there was a progression as such under them, in the sense that they got us more regularly into Europe. And we did stumble upon some world-class players along the way, I think by accident, but let's give them some grace on that. That we had a Bale and we had a Modric, and we, and we had a Harry Kane, and that gave us something to cling on to.
Yeah.
But we were effectively sold a dream, weren't we? That when we get our new stadium, that we would take the next step as a club. Now, the fan base up until that point showed a lot of patience to that project, because what a lot of the fans don't know is that during the late 80s and early 90s, there was a lot of talk about Tottenham Hotspur sharing a stadium with Arsenal in the Inter Milan model. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah, I do.
Right? Because there was big.
Was it around the time when Wembley got rebuilt?
No, that was late. That was later. All right, but during that time, a lot of the talk was, we need to grow our revenues. We've got massive fan bases, Arsenal and Spurs, right? And regardless of what anyone says, we are one of the massive historic clubs in the UK. There's not many teams in England that can turn out like we did at Wembley, 90,000 people every week. Tottenham can. Arsenal, some people say Arsenal couldn't even do it, which I know is very hard to believe, but that's the type of fan base we've got. So I think a lot of the older fans gave ENIC time to attain that goal, right? To get the stadium done and build it and everything. But they gave them too much grace because they were patient on that project, because over that time, season prices kept going up, ticketing prices kept going up. The ENIC gentrification project was well underway. They were pricing out the fans out of that stadium. The culture was changing when the money came into football. And this is where we are today. This is why the standards, basically at a very high level, has dropped, because a lot of those fans that knew of the glory years and knew of our history and reputation, right? They've either grown old or they've they haven't been going to the stadium. Now you need the older fans like to let the younger fans know what the history of the club is and what football standards are at Tottenham Hotspur. We've got a history, and Ellie says this really well, but we are the push and run team. We kind of invented that style of play, that passing around, fast-paced, pass and move style, Barcelona-esque style football. We were known as the footballing team. That is what our reputation was. And we cemented that by being the first double team, by being the first team to win anything in Europe. And we did come close a few times to winning, the ultimate prize in terms of, like European Cups and stuff like that. So, we're not certainly not a league winning team. We're always known as a cup team, but at least we had that history. I think before the Premier League side, I think we were like the third or fourth most winningest team in the whole country at that time. I still know the stats a lot better than I do. My memory's going as I'm getting a bit older. But so what ENIC have done over certainly started under Alan Sugar, but what ENIC have done since they've come in is they stopped buying world-class players, right? They pivoted on this, we can buy cheap and make them into superstars model. They've always had that model, right? And we can prove this because we didn't buy a ready-made Gareth Bale. He turned into this elite world-class player. We didn't buy a ready-made Harry Kane, did we? He turned into this elite player. Modric turned into the Modric we know today. And fine, we're a part of that journey for them, right? And Berbatov obviously became Berbatov. We moved on from us. I mean, obviously he was a good player, but he was unknown. Same with Son, a good player, but relatively unknown. And he turned into the Son that we know. But under ENIC, we never went out and bought superstars at all. The only under ENIC, I'm trying to think, the only stars we brought in that of merit that I can remember was Davids at the end of his career, right? He was a superstar, right? And Van der Vaart.
Klinsmann.
Well, Klinsmann was under Sugar. Ginola was under Sugar.
You're on about ENIC.
ENIC specifically.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So even Alan Sugar realised at the time that Spurs had standards and we had a reputation, because he did, after the 94 World Cup, he brought in Popescu, Dimitrescu and Klinsmann, right? I remember at the time, because obviously I was a teenager, and I was unbelievable for us to bring in those players. I couldn't believe it. No. I was beside myself when I saw Klinsmann come in, because for me he scored one of the best goals I've ever seen in my life. Was it against South Korea? Or was it Bulgaria scored the goal? I'll have to Google it and bring it up. But when we signed him, it was like, wow, this was amazing. And I remember speaking to my father at the time, and he will say, well, we'd regularly buy these world class players. We did buy the Gascoigne in, and he had a hell of a reputation, Gascoigne, as a superstar young player when he came in. We did buy the Ozzy Ardelises and the Villiers, So and we were the team that regularly broke like transfer records as well back in the day. But under ENIC, that all stopped. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about standards, even just by the way we operate in the market compared to the previous ownership under Sugar changed. So there's not, so at a high level, that's my view on things, lads. So sorry if I've missed anything, but that's my take.
It's fair enough, mate. Hopefully there'll be a couple of more people jump on it and we'll get their views on it as well. Dan, big up to you. Big up to everyone in the chat, by the way, because the chat's buzzing already. Plenty of conversation going on in there about it. And if you've got any questions
I've started one already, mate.
For anyone, put your questions in. If they're directed at anyone in particular, please be polite, ask the question, and no attacking of the person's of the person themselves, should I say. Dan,
I've started two, mate, to let you know.
Yeah, that's all right. You can save them. Yeah, that's all right. Just save them up for a bit. Dan, good evening to you. Thanks for jumping on, mate, tonight. Really appreciate it. Would you like to add anything to that part of the conversation?
Yeah, I won't take that long. But evening, everyone.
Big up,
big up, chat. Hope everyone's okay. Yeah, look, the standards of Spurs have just completely, could say, they've disappeared. Really, they've eroded due to so many reasons. Constant manager changes, I'd say. No clear identity. Years of poor recruitment, I would say, has left this squad unbalanced and directionless. No direction. And on top of that, we've lost the likes of Son and Kane. Were big leaders in that dressing room. They really were. And now we're left with a team that I would say lacks discipline, consistency, and accountability, really. And this, guys, this is not bad luck. This is self-inflicted. And a club of Tottenham size, right, should not be operating like this. I don't know how they got away with it for so many years. And our club is just rotting at the moment, and it's embarrassing. I'm furious with the board, ENIC. I'm not happy. I don't get why more fans are not more angry about what's happening right now with our club in a relegation battle. Last season as well, we were finished 17th. I don't get it. I don't understand why no one is protesting. I don't get this whole kind of, what's it called? The relegation party, isn't it? This sort of stuff, and waving the white flag. I don't get why fans are choosing to do that. Yes, support the team in the ground, of course. Yeah, of course you've got to support the team in the ground. But what about protesting? What a good time to do it as well. The disgusting season we've had league-wise. The recruitment, shocking. 4th manager in 1 year. I mean, it's a disgrace. And if we get relegated, ENIC deserve it. They do. Mm-hmm. They totally deserve it. And it's a fucking shambles.
Do the fans deserve it, Dan?
For the fans who actually do something about it, protest, boycott, call ENIC out, plan things, try and contest about, they don't deserve it. But the fans who do nothing, I know what you said earlier, Maz, when I was listening to you on Cookie Show. What did you call it? Tough love, wasn't it, Maz?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I've got to be honest. Like, as a fan base, we haven't done enough. We can all take responsibility, I guess, of course. But, I know a lot of people in this chat, people on the panel, we've all tried to protest, do all we can. We've got the message out about the faults with ENIC and how we've let this get away with them for so many years, 26 years. They're not serious. They don't want to win on the pitch. It's all about profit before glory, right? And enough's enough, really. And if it's going to take relegation, really, to either get them to clear off or to real sort it out and put in an actual footballing plan, so be it. Yeah, I can cope with it if we're in the Championship. We're not good enough. We're not good enough. We ain't won a game in 15 matches. It's I don't know what the words for it is. I'm so angry about it. What shall I do? Shall I get on? Shall I get on board with the encouraging signs? From the weekend, the encouraging signs, getting on false hope that we're going to win, get enough games to stay in this league. There's no evidence to suggest we're going to win a game of football right now. Yes, it was a little bit better at the weekend, but the result was still the same. We didn't get it over the line, did we? We bottled it. And I don't blame De Zerbi. He ain't got a lot of time to get it right. These players, man, it's going to be a miracle if we're going to stay up in this league this season. An absolute miracle. And if we do stay up, and ENIC are going to get away with it again. But think of all the fans celebrating. We've done it. We've stayed up. Praising the club for bringing in De Zerbi when they should have brought in De Zerbi before Christmas, and they should have sacked Thomas Frank then. I can't stand ENIC. Yeah, I've lost it. I'm so frustrated. I don't know how to deal with the anger, to be honest. I might as well just get bored of the encouraging signs and just be fake hope that I'm seeing a lot on YouTube. And I'll tell you what, on YouTube, the majority of people on YouTube, they talk about it, they moan about it, they complain about it, but they do fuck all, right? They don't encourage their followers to protest. They don't do nothing. They just moan and complain about it and cry about it. What about do something about it and encourage fans to protest and make a difference? Yeah, but they won't. They just moan and complain, and it's just a load of waffle, and I can't listen to it. And that's me done for now.
Fair play, mate. Fair play. It's what it's all about on this channel, as everyone knows. It's all from a fan's point of view, and we try to be that on this channel. I'll give you guys a break for a sec. Mark, can you tell me what your perspective is on it from a fan's point of view and where you are with it?
Where do we start? It's been going on for years, mate. As Mars explained, everything Mars said is true. Since they've come in, you only got to look at what they said when they first come in here. Our aim is to make money. Our aim is to make money. That's the first words that come out of Daniel Levy's mouth when they rocked up here, when they bought it off Sugar. You know, I mean, the bit I always pick up on, and I've said this 1,000,001 times on this channel, is that you remember when the stadium was being built?
Yeah.
Daniel himself come out and said, this is the game changer. This will be the game changer. This will allow us to compete at the very top. This will allow us to pay the wages, sign the top players. He didn't mention clubs, but he was obviously on about City and that at the time, paying the really high wages and spending whatever they wanted. But to compete at the very top. Since that stadium has opened, we've been in decline year after year after year. So what was the point in building it? We all know what the point in building it was, for the income. Where is that related to us getting better on the pitch? It's nowhere to be seen. And to me, the whole Enoch now are rudderless because they don't employ football people that actually know the game and got an eye for a player or anybody like that. Look at it. Look, we can't say they don't spend the money because we're up there as one of the highest spenders. But we're getting up there, you know. We're not far off what they've spent. But the way I look at it anyway, they've got no football people in there. Like all the people at the top, is there one of them that is a football person? As far as I'm aware, they're all accountants and bloody money people.
Yeah, Mark, I've got a story on that. So when I was going in my uncle's box, you get a lot of the ex-Tottenham players working with the club, right, as like ambassadors, and they'll go around all of the boxes and come in and talk. And because my uncle had the box for quite a few years, you know, got 10, 20 years, God knows how long, that he had the box for. Obviously, I got to meet over many occasions the pros. You know, you name it, I've near enough met them all that used to work at the club, and you get to know them, right? Because they'll come in, they'll say a quick hello for like a couple of minutes. You know, you have a little chat with them, and then sometimes they'll stay a little bit longer for like 4 or 5 minutes, and you have a good chat. And I'll tell you one thing that I learned from them all, and they all said the same thing, is and they'll never say it out loud. They'll be like, those people upstairs, right? They don't want to know our opinion. They don't want to know their opinion, right? And that to me, seeing every single one would say the same thing. Every single one. I've never met, right? You know, Chivers, Mullery used to come in, Graham Roberts came in, Hazard came in once, Anderton came in, Hoddle even came in one time. Every single person that I met, right, not one of them had a positive thing to say about Daniel Levy and the ownership. They all said the same things, right? Don't want to know what we think about the football, right? They don't employ Tottenham people in and around their club. That they'd rather get other people to come in, right?
Yeah, non-footballing people.
Non-football, right? They don't spend the money, right? And what they mean by that is not transfer of things like wages and stuff like that. Everything's always done on the cheap. But the things they want to spend good money on, they will, which obviously is all of the entertainment, all the other stuff around, the club. And that's why our standards have dropped, because I'm a firm believer in that the history of the club, that history tells you what's going to happen in the future. You look at what's happened in the past, which help and that helps you move forward into the future, right? And you when there is wisdom, right, you embrace it. You bring it around you, right? Because that wisdom and experience is what's going to help you lead the way forward. What did Spurs? What has Enoch done to with all of the experience and the professionals that we have around Tottenham Hotspur? What have they done to harness that? Nothing. Right? They would rather have them as ambassadors going in and talking to the fans that pay the big money in the boxes, but they don't want them to be a part of the actual football. Set the standard. Tell them about Tottenham Hotspur.
I've never been in the box, but from what I can see, they only go and speak to them so they can get a little bit more toot, buy a few more drinks, have another prawn sandwich.
The reason why the pros do it, the ambassadors do it, right, is because they want to be part of the club, and this is the only way that they can do it. Yeah, and they really love the club. Another thing, right, is you can. We don't have our heroes involved, right? We used to have Clive Allen involved at Spurs, right? And they, right. But what about Mabbott? What about Perryman? For God's sake, Mr. Tottenham Hotspur.
Mabbott goes and helps the older people, doesn't he? He rings them up, and
Mabbott used to be my neighbour. He used to live in the same village as me. I used to see him all the time when I was a young boy, right? I used to go up and speak to him, and he was such a nice man. He would speak to everyone that approached him, right? But he used to say to the kids, and when I was there, boys, keep your heads up. As in, walk with presence about you. Be a gentleman. That was him. That was Gary Mabbott. Why isn't he involved in the club, in the footballing side of things, to bring that experience and that thing, to let the current players know what it means to play Arsenal? Why is it important to play Arsenal? Why is it important to play Chelsea? This is all you hear it all the time, nostalgic stuff, right? All Spurs fans are nostalgic, but when you dispense of our history, when you don't remind people of what we are, where we've come from, what our history is, you lose your identity. And what's happened to Spurs? We've lost our identity. Why have we lost our identity? Because we've got no Tottenham people in Spurs anymore.
Yeah. They've ripped the soul out of the club, man.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted Pochettino back in. Because if Pochettino comes back in, not because I expected him to come in and win us anything or do as well as he did last time, because Pochettino is part of the fabric of Spurs. And the reason why Pochettino is part of the fabric of Spurs is because he learnt the history of the club. And the reason why he learnt the history of the club is because Ozzy Ardiles and Ricky Villa told him. Right? That's why he's a Tottenham man. That's why he loves Tottenham Hotspur. That's the people we need at this club, regardless of whether they're successful or not. You need people like that at Spurs. Right? Man United keep their pros around. Liverpool keep their pros around. Dalglish, even when he wasn't a manager there and everything, he would be up there in the directors' boxes, walking around the club, talking to everyone. Why don't we have that? Why isn't Glenn Hoddle walking around Tottenham Hotspur? and letting people know. Why isn't Perryman walking around it? Perringham, Mr. Tottenham Hotspur, that was his fucking name, right? A link back to the Bill Nick days. And this is why our standards are fallen, because the fan base have allowed ENIC to erase our history, right? And people don't realise how important our history is to Tottenham Hotspur. You know, this is why I always argue with like Danny, and bless it, I'm not just not to pick on Danny, but Danny and Sava and stuff like that. When they say, "Oh, we're not a big club," "Oh, we're not this, we're not that," not because we're not a big club now, we're not, right? But historically, we are a big club, and you can't dispense of our history and forget our identity, because we'll never get it back once it's gone.
We're not performing like a big club. That's what it is. We are a big club. We're not performing like one. That's it. But evening, Brian. I'm sure you want to come in
Brian.
there.
Yeah, big up, Brian.
Let loose.
Evening, Brian. Yeah, go on, Brian. I don't know if you heard about the conversation. Go on, have your say, mate.
I was on Stel's show, doing a show with Stel. Then I had some dishes to clean. I'm chief dishwasher in this. Ilana does the cooking. I do the dishes, and the dishes are stacked up, so I quickly did them to have a bit of a break before I came on here. So I haven't really listened to the conversation, but I will say big up to both of you, Marks. Maz, it's always a pleasure. And Dan, you and I have been playing phone tag to try and have a phone call. So we'll have our conversation here. And I just want to say, I don't know if it's the light, but you look so red, your face. And I don't know if that's from sunburn or because we're talking about ENIC and leaving, you're about to blow a gasket.
Because, I'm talking about ENIC. I'm a bit hot. I'm drinking wine and, probably getting a bit pissed because I'm just pissed off with the club, to be honest. Yeah.
Good
All of that.
Big up, Daddy.
I'll turn the brightness down in a minute.
No, it's all good. Listen, we all know the same things. We all say the same things. We've been here for years and years.
Yeah.
Myself for 18 years, but obviously protesting heavily on the streets and on YouTube for 6 years. And the thing that gets me, for all the time I protested outside the club shop, at the training ground, where Maz joined me, many others joined me, we've actually got worse as a football club. We've actually got so much worse, yet there's still absolutely nothing. There is still absolutely nothing. And when I say this about the fans, I am going at the match day going fans. It's very, very important that it's mentioned that when I say about the fans, it is the home match day going supporters that are actually in that ground and can have an impact, whether it be outside the stadium, inside the stadium. There's people like both you, Marks, that don't live in London, and it's hard to get down to. It's I've reached out to him. He hasn't got back to me yet, Pete, but I will do. Don't worry, I'm not going to let that slide. But yeah, you look at it, the international fan base, we can't really add anything to at the ground for obvious reasons. Neither can fans that live in the country that don't go to the games. So they can have the impact, whether it be a walk out, a walk in, ENIC out chants, stuff outside the ground, stuff inside the ground. But there's just nothing. Even when we drew to Brighton, and don't get me wrong, getting behind the team, it's all well and good. It was a great atmosphere in a large part for the game, but even at the full-time whistle, when a draw wasn't good enough, the fans just walk out. There's no ENIC out. There's no anger or frustration shown to the board or the owners.
But why, Brian?
This is the bit I don't get. And the home match day going fans, and I don't mean the people that protested with me for ENIC out or are ENIC and Levy out. They're paying a ridiculous amount of money for their season tickets. If they've got kids or whatever, they're spending stuff at the shop, spending money in the bars when there's many a good pub in Tottenham, especially the Coach and Horses. For atmosphere, for everything. They're a big up sporting journey. There are so many other places to go get food and support local businesses, but they'd rather spend it in the stadium, especially after we lose or draw, And rather than showing any kind of animosity or hate, it's like, do you know what? We've lost and drawn, but the goal line bar's open for 2 hours. Let's get some cheaper beer here. I don't drink anymore, but if the coach of the horses, if I was drinking, charged me double for a pint than giving up money to Levy and Enoch, I'd pay double the price. I don't care. That's just, it's a massive part of the problem, because the home match day going fans will just sit there in silence. They'll sit there in silence, and a lot of these players that we're speaking about, they're on the payroll. They're on the payroll, so they're not going to speak out. They're not going to speak out. Perryman has spoken out, but he won't speak out massively. I've been at events where he's spoken about it. He's not happy with this board, but won't. He does it on his YouTube channel, but he won't speak out louder than that. You got people like Graham Roberts, Ledley. I mean, seeing Michael Dawson next to Vinay and everyone at Sunderland was just disgusting.
Breaks your heart, doesn't it?
It really does, because that man bled Tottenham, and he's there sitting with them whilst they're laughing and joking, looking at what's going on in this club. Like all the greats that Maz just mentioned about Kenny Dalglish and all the others, they embody their football club. They don't care about the business aspect. They care about the football and the standards that were kept.
Exactly.
Whereas us, we just wheel them out to please the H Club and the boxes. Here you go and entertain. Go and speak to them about stories of back in the day, to avoid anything about talking about the present day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only just now that Teddy Sheringham has started speaking out. I don't care if it's too late or whatever. At least he's doing it. You got Ramon Vega, who is always doing it. You got Jamie O'Hara, but these are people that don't. Teddy Sheringham holds clout at Tottenham. Like Toby just came out. And absolutely ridiculed Van der Ven and Romero.
Yeah.
If Jamie O'Hara does that, I'm like, Jamie, in all fairness, who are you to criticise Van der Ven and Romero? Yes, you're a Spurs fan. Yes, we're doing it. But what weight? If Toby Alderweireld comes out and says that, you're like, you are half of the best defensive centre-back pairing we've had in Premier League history. Probably one of the greatest in our history, as in partnerships. That man holds weight.
Yeah. We
need more people that hold weight, especially the modern day players. I'd love Danny Rose to come out. I'd love Danny Rose to come out like he did about Googling. But I'd love players that have been at this club and left because of lack of ambition to come out and say something. But they don't. They don't. And it's a real problem. It's a real problem. And I think it's the fact, if one of the big players, like a big player, came out and absolutely slammed them, as in Enoch and Vinay and Lange, they'd get people go, well, actually, do you know what? You hold some weight. If he's saying that, you just got to look at the players we've lost through lack of ambition.
Yeah. Brian, I was speaking to Cookie and Mia on this morning's show, and one of the points I made was that to get standards at Tottenham Hotspur, it can't come from top down. It has to come from bottom up, right? And what I mean by that is the fans have to set the standard, right? And once the fans set the standard, then hopefully the people at the club take on that responsibility, and they then in turn set the standard as well. But when our fans don't set that standard anymore, we don't have the expectation of the club and the players and the management staff like we used to have. And because they don't have that pressure and that accountability, because it's like I don't want to bring politics into this, but briefly, if we don't hold the politicians to account and then we exercise our vote, then how are things ever going to change? And it's the same way at Spurs. If you don't control, if you don't vote with your feet and your money and use your voice, how's anything going to change at that club? How's anything going to improve?
Yeah, I mean, Maz, you look at it, that lot down the road, when they had enough for finishing 8th twice, they had a massive boycott of the game. Then Josh Kroenke came in and they went, right, that's not acceptable anymore. That's our standard. That is not Arsenal. we're now going to heavily invest in the team. And all right, they've choked at the time of asking, but I'd rather have choked 4 times in trying to win the league than choke or succeed getting relegation. It's that I'd rather aim high and miss than hit low and succeed. And then you look at Chelsea this weekend. They're only at a risk of not going into Europe. They spend billions or hundreds of millions, close to $1 billion, on players. Not saying that they're right with their recruitment strategy, but they throw everything behind. About they might not get Europe, and they're like, that's it. That's not good enough. We're out there. Look at the financial problems they're in now. They're running loss. We're close to $1 billion, if not $1 billion in debt, if you count losing Premier League money, the debt. We owe around 800 million on the stadium. Thank you, sweetheart. We owe 800 million on the stadium. We owe over 200 million on transfers that need to go out. Then you factor in championship money if it is, loss of TV revenue, loss of league, just everything. And we're again struck. Obviously, relegation weren't a problem last season because the teams were just so bad. But we were there. Regardless, we were there. We get to a January and summer window. We don't repair the damages. Now we're even deeper in it, and it's a distinct possibility. There's still nothing. There's football clubs that have standards. Arsenal was finishing 8th twice. Chelsea's are not getting into Europe. Ours are... I don't even know if we get relegated, if this fan base will do anything. I really don't. And that's the issue.
Brian.
Let me give you, no, I want to stand that point. Sorry, Dan, while it's in my head, because I forget, right? You mentioned Arsenal is a prime example. Why did Arsene Wenger leave? Right? Because he kept going on about finishing 4th and that's a trophy. Right? And even when he won like 4 FA Cups in a row, they were like, ain't good enough. You've got to leave. Right? The fact that they haven't won like since is a good thing for us, obviously. But that is standard. They expect their club to win the league, even if they're not winning it. They still expect it. At least challenge, exactly. Go on.
The problem is, guys, like we're up against it. All of us here on this panel, in the chat, and some other channels as well. The bigger channels, right? I heard one particular big YouTuber say, "Look, yeah, let's enjoy the championship. Let's enjoy it. We'll always love the club. We'll always love the club. We'll get behind the club." What about action, man? And they have big viewers, and people are agreeing with him. We've got no hope, man. Honestly, there's not enough fans who want to do anything ever about it, even if we get relegated, like you said, Brian. It's sad, but it's the truth.
Mate,
we've got to realise this, man. It's too much.
Dan, I've seen on social media, and I've even had people say it to my face, going, the first thing they've said about relegation is at least my season ticket will be cheaper. That's it. At least my season ticket will be cheaper. And they're like,
oh, man.
You can't fathom it. It's like, I know there's a problem financially across the world right now, and that does come to a factor. But to just say nothing about anything else, but at least my season ticket will be cheaper, it just blows my mind. It honestly does. And again, I know a lot of people that go with their kids, so they're paying 3-4 season tickets around whatever the prices are now, and it will make a big difference to them financially. And from that part, I can understand it. If you're paying for your family, it's a huge expense where we are in the world today. But for that to be the first thing that you think of, just shows. I've said before, there are sections of this fan base that I guarantee that Levy, Vivian, Charlie, Vinay, Lange, Donna, as in Cullen, could literally walk up to someone's mother, stab them, and the fan will go, "I'm so sorry, whichever person did it. My mother shouldn't have walked into your knife. I really do apologise if there's blood." Because they just don't accept anything. They accept everything. They accept everything. There are no standards within this fan base. None.
So the burning question is, Brian, and to Maz and to Dan. I know, Dan, I don't know if you want to say what you want to say before I ask this question, but all it was how does that change? Brian? How? Because Dan's openly admitted, he's just come on here, right, and said, we as the smaller channels, and don't get me wrong, your channel's a lot bigger than ours, Brian, and there's others that have got bigger channels than us, but I know what Dan means when he's what he's talking about.
Yep.
How do we not necessarily, well, yeah, how do we persuade, if you like,
people don't like the truth, man. People don't like the truth. They like positivity. They like positivity. They don't like to be told how it is. Yeah, they don't like the truth. They don't like to hear it. They just want to hear everything's good, everything's positive. Yeah, they don't like the negativity. They don't like the truth. Let's be honest here. The majority of the fan base don't. We're the minority in the fan base on YouTube speaking the truth. And fans don't like it. They won't listen in. They want to hear fake positivity. And this is it. This is what we're up against. And that's why if we do get relegated, ENIC are really in trouble. Yeah. And it's going to hit them hard in the pocket. And and they deserve it for mismanagement of the club. And even before this relegation thing, the last couple of seasons we've fallen away. Spurs never really pushed on, kind of hanging around trying to push for Europe, get top 4, that's all they ever were doing. They never pushed on. They never went to the next level. They never signed top players. They never have. Yeah, they never break the wage structure. It's all too safe, risk averse. Yeah, so they're never going to change. Never, ever. They'll say they will change. But look what's happened. Look what they've let happen this season. Not sacking Frank, taking too long to sack him, and then bringing in Tudor, not signing anyone in January, making excuses for it. Yeah, There's no excuses. January, there are players available we could have signed and given us a much better chance, but they decided not to. So part of me thinks that they just want to get relegated with idiotic decisions, not signing anyone in January and then signing Tudor. Like, what, in hindsight, what the hell? Why bring him in? And then, as I said, they wanted De Zerbi, right? They were looking at bringing him in the summer. And then they had to throw a load of money at him, because he didn't want to come now in the relegation fight. They had to throw so much money at him and convince him to come. And in the end, he agreed. Why didn't they just throw that money at him after they sacked Frank? And then he would have 5 more games to get us going. But it's all too late. It's all too late now. We're hanging in there, but I can't see it. I can't see us surviving right now. We can't win a game of football. So for me, we're going down.
Yeah. So listen, the only way I've come across this, or the way I now conduct myself, is when I first came onto YouTube, and it was through my brothers at We Are Tottenham TV, the mothership. I used to come on, and my shtick used to be me shouting and screaming, and absolutely shouting and screaming like a nutcase. And yeah, I was a complete nutcase. But then I realised, as we're trying to get the protests going and whatever, the way you're going to entice people, I put it this way, I call it, imagine Mount Everest, but I call it Mount Levy and ENIC. The 5 of us that are on the panel, and a lot of people in the chat, have climbed to the summit. We've posted our ENIC out flag, Levy out flag to the summit. We're looking at the beautiful view that this mountaintop has given us. Now, we're all there, and we don't need convincing, or we don't need to try and embrace the people that are up there because they feel the way we do. But there's people that have just started walking up the mountain and thinking about it, or at different sections of the ladder. And there's people at the bottom of the mountain that are waiting to climb. And the way you're going to get them to climb is not shouting and screaming and calling the fans personally and attacking them individually, going, "Are you wankers? Are you this?" If you're going to buy a car or something, do you go to a car show that goes, "Oh, you wanker, buy this fucking car. This has got..." Or if you have a conversation like we do now, calm, cool, collected, and raise points that are going wrong at this football club, those people that are thinking about it and hear you listen and go, "Do you know what? You raise a good point here. I hadn't thought of it this way. I don't look at it that way." But that's how you're going to get people to join. Because if we go out shouting and screaming and saying don't get me wrong, I think the home match day going fan base is a big problem because they have the power to affect a lot of things inside that stadium. They choose not to. I'm starting protests here in North America over the summer and the start of the season because North Americans want to protest, but they, for obvious reasons, can't get there. So the saying "you catch more flies with honey than vinegar" is what I refer to with Mount Levy and Enoch. If we were doing a show now and it was just complete Levy outers and Enoch outers that were right at the top of the summit with us, we could all say whatever we want. And people will go, yeah, let's do so. It's not those people that we need to convince. We have to remember there are a lot of people that watch these shows because they love our takes on football or they love our takes on Enoch and Levy and football in general and think, I like watching these guys, whether they're talking about whatever. That's all well and good. But you've got to remember there's a lot of people that watch these shows that aren't where we are or as extreme against the board. We don't need
Brian, it's mental extreme, man. Honestly, man. It's not extreme, man. It's just what's going on, mate.
Oh, I'm saying that
it's mental.
No, we are extreme. We're extremists when it comes to Levy and Enoch out. You don't need to explain that to us. You don't need. I'm saying those people that are where we are, they don't need convincing. They don't need. What we got to look at and what we got to talk about is how we get the people that aren't there. And we're not going to get there by calling them "see you next Tuesdays" and every other thing, because who's going to say, why am I listening to this guy? He's calling. I like I said, I will call out the home match day going fan base collectively for the ones that don't feel the way we do and just sit there, giving them their money, watch what's going on, see where we are, and still don't think, wait a minute, there's something going wrong there. Maybe these guys have got a point.
Well,
Yeah.
I think the problem is, and to wrap it around like the theme of the show, which is standards. How can our fan base have sort of set the standard? They won't protest, the concessions for seniors being removed, right? They won't protest the season ticket prices going up, right? They won't protest us buying bad players. They won't protest as to why the beer is being charged at £8, £9, £10 a pop, right? They don't protest anything. They've got no standards.
No, even when
but what they will do is moan when we get relegated. They'll be like, and they'll be like, how did you get here? I don't know how it happened. I just want to watch all good football. Right, and when we get winning managers to try and give us some standards, i.e. Jose, even Poch, and Conte, right? They don't want to back them.
Yep.
It's not good, Maz. It's not good. I'll just interject. Andy Lester, member for 7 months. Big up, mate.
Andy, cheers, mate. Appreciate
West Ham have given us a foot in the door to stay up.
Oh, there's a question.
Depends how you look at it.
Should we save that for a bit later when we talk about that sort of stuff?
Yeah, it's started anyway, mate. But my thing with Enoch,
go on, mate,
is that they've done it very cleverly. It's not bang and suddenly they've done it gradually. And it's like when you don't see someone for 10 years and then you bump into them, you think, God, you've changed. You know what I mean? When you see someone day in, day out, like Tottenham are in all our lives, you don't notice it because they've done it gradually and slowly, so, but it's true. The standards we did have, certainly when I was growing up and when I was a kid, are gone. Absolutely gone. There is none anymore.
Mark, it's like I said on your show, that wonderful nostalgia show, and then obviously we got onto the Levy subject. Mm-hmm. You look at the protest for sugar. This was before social media.
Yeah.
It was before mobile phones everyone had one. This was before texting. This was before Sky Sport. This was before everything. Arranging those protests was literally word of mouth and putting up information on certain places, and there were thousands. But they are the fans now that have got older than me and Maz, and they are the people that have been priced out and won't pay these prices and feel the way we do, and they're like, that's it for me. Done. They won't protest anymore because either they're old, they've lost all love for it, they can't even bring themselves to do it. And this is the thing: if we had the league sugar out people still active, it would be a whole lot different.
Oh,
Even when I did my protest with the guys that I did it with, we were hoping more people came and more people told us they were going to come. But when you do these polls on Twitter and everywhere, you don't even know if they're Spurs fans answering. It could be just whatever. We needed more people because we wanted to divide and conquer in loads and loads of places. But we got such low numbers some days. If we'd split up, we wouldn't have divided and conquer. We would have looked more embarrassing for people that wanted to say, "Oh, look, there's only 3 of them over there by the South Stand, or there's only 6 of them by the station, and there's only 6 of them." We just couldn't do it. We just couldn't do it. We had so many plans to do more, like the day against Manchester United when we got the balloons on the pitch, all coordinated. We had so many things coordinated, ready to go, but it all depended on the amount of people coming. And the amount of people that walked past us and go, "Go on, boys, get them out, and girls. Go on, everyone, get them out. Leave me an edict out. Get these bastards out." We're like, "Well, do you want to stay with us for a bit and make up the numbers so it looks?" And they're like, "Oh no, I've got to meet someone, or I'm going for a pint, or." But then they'll take pictures of the banners we had up and then walk off. And it's like, well, what good is that doing if you want them out? Look at what West Ham did a few years ago when they went to the director's box during a game.
Yeah.
I know you can't get to the director's box the way our stadium is. It hasn't got that big gangway that the Olympic Stadium has. But they've made their feelings known. They've made their feelings known inside the stadium, outside the stadium. We can't.
Chelsea have got a massive protest going on apparently because they might be finishing outside the European places.
Yep.
Massive protests going on about that.
There's their standards, and you know, ours are in the trash.
Well, look, some way or another, look, we all know how everyone feels about. That's wrong. I've said that wrong. Let me start again. We know how most people feel about what's happened with Change for Tottenham at the last protest. The way I see it now, and Maz and Brian, you two, I don't know about Dan, but you two will be able to put me straight on it. Is there actually, at the moment, a group dedicated to Enoch out?
Nope.
In England.
Nope.
Sorry, I should have said.
Nope.
Not as far as you know, there. So, a difficult question, I know. I've got it written down because I wanted to ask both of you two, as you've both been involved in this sort of stuff. I know I haven't been, not as far as Tottenham are concerned, anyway. What is the basic stuff that needs to happen in England as a Tottenham fan that we are able to get a protest movement going again? Is it going to have to take relegation and then maybe you have a go at it next season, something like that? Or I think this season it's a lost cause anyway. It don't matter. And by the way, I'll say it again. I think I don't care if we go down, or I do care, right? But on the point I'm making, I don't care whether we go down or stay up. Yeah, Enoch are still responsible at the end of the day. I just make my feelings clear on that, because if we stay up, they'll barely do anything again. Yeah, and we'll be in the same position again next season because they haven't got people at the football club to buy the right players. That's just one facet of it. They're clueless, absolutely clueless, and people have got to learn to understand it, whether they like it or not. Their beloved football club is going down to the Championship. Right, it's as simple as that. But Brian, does it take that for a new protest movement to start again? In your opinion?
So let's go. Let's go back in time. The movement I was proudly part of, as in not just part of attended, I was a key factor in it, as in training ground protests, organising, being at the protest. I wasn't the main guy. I would say when it comes to YouTube and social media, yep, there was like me for YouTube, Billy Carnes and others for Twitter. We did what we could. When we did 17 days at the training ground, we had so many people say, you got to do it on match days. You got to do it on match days. So we said, yep, we'll do it match days. So we did. Maz was there many a time. And again, it's all talking the talk, not walking the walk. And like I said, they walked past. The one thing we didn't have, which I do think Change for Cowards for Tottenham did very, very well, is they decided that they were going to do something different. And I know who they were that created it. They were and still are part of the unique out groups. But they're like, we're going to go down a different way and try and be more middle of the road. But obviously, the main aim is about the board. But we think the way you guys are going at the moment is not getting the message of point across the right way to the kind of supporters. Like I said, flies and vinegar. And they wanted to do it that way. So they did that. Ages ago, one of their first protests, while we were first planning to protest, was they were going to arrange a march. Not as big as what they did, the marches that they did. But then they put a poll on Twitter and there's a massive overall thing saying, yeah, we're not attending, we don't support. And like I said, those Twitter polls could be Arsenal fans, West Ham fans, Chelsea fans, Liverpool, anything. Or fans that don't even live in the country. Or London who can get to it. So they got a bad response. They said, yeah, do you know what? We're cancelling. Strike one. With cancelling your own protest. Then when they came back after, I can't remember if it's Chelsea last season or Liverpool, one of the two, that Jay came out, and Jay's a very, very close friend of mine. I love Jay. He came out and said, you know what? I've had enough. We need to protest. We need to sort something. And Change for Spurs latched onto it. Fair play to them. They latched onto it. What they did very, very well, which we didn't do and didn't even think about, was getting the media attention. The way they dealt with media and getting their mission out there and their voice out there, getting on TalkSport, getting in the papers, they did that exceedingly well. And full credit to them. Full credit to them. But they keep cancelling their own protests. They don't walk out on their own planned walkout. Yet when everyone had to be all together always, they walk out when we're losing. So you look at it, I will say, like I said, I've got something planned for North America. I also have something planned for England. But I also have something, well, the thing I've planned with England is with a couple of other people, and we're trying to get it off the ground. And it is going to be done properly. And we are going to be doing this so directly and straight down the line. It's going to be very, very clear. Kind of like, without me saying, like, kind of like the Supporters Trust, like the setup, chairman, blah, blah, blah. And this is solely going to be about ENIC out. Nothing else. Nothing else whatsoever. And we're going to have people join us. We're going to create the board and do everything first. Then we're going to get our mission right. Then we're going to have people that we want to join on board that are committed to do things. But what we're also going to do is find a way to make sure these people are willing to go the extra mile, whether that be an annual membership fee of, let's say, £5 a year, just to put towards banners and whatever, all be shown and shown up. But we need people that are seriously prepared to do something and won't say, oh, because I'll tell you what, I'll tell you now, the fan group, the group I was part of, if Sing Up, Show Up, Stay Up had come to us or other groups or the club had said, can you guys keep this quiet for a bit? We're going to try this. We would have said 2 words. Fuck you. That would have been you can have your 20, 30, whatever you do, you ain't stopping us from getting our message across. You ain't stopping us. We wouldn't bow down or do anything to anyone. because we stood there, the few of us that did, and sometimes over 100, sometimes close to 200. We took the amount of abuse I took personally, whether it be verbally, on social media, or everywhere else, the kind of abuse I got with Ryan and Graham for being at the training ground, the three of us, and then building it up. We took all of that, still carried on. We didn't run and hide. We didn't say, oh, the fans want us to do this, so we're doing that. We're like, no, we stand for what we believe, and we will not give up. We will not back down because the club or other groups want different. So there will be something coming for London, and it will be done very, very seriously and very straight down the line. And there is no, okay, we're saying that we want ENIC out. That's exactly, Mikey, that's exactly what we're thinking. That's exactly what people subscribe to channels. This is exactly what we're thinking of doing.
I think it's on the right path, Brian. I mean, you need to effectively make a trust, like you said, that has structure, that has a clear presence.
Yeah.
Right. And having paying members is good. Right. It's not a negative because, as with anything in life, you have to be paid to be part of a club. Right. And support the cause, and there's charities and stuff like that. So, I think charging for such a thing is good, because that then guarantees that the people that are willing to pay and support it will have a vested interest in how the organization behaves, right? And like you said, Brian, you're giving a clear mission statement about what the organization is, right?
Which is just solely ENIC, Levy, Lange out. That's it. There's no getting away from it. Board, every single one of them out.
And it also enables fans from around the world who feel just as strongly as we do about the direction of Tottenham Hotspur to get involved. And the more official numbers you can put in this, right? Actual paying members, the louder your voice is going to be. And that's the mistake that the original movement made, which I was a part of with Brian and Stell and everyone else, right? It was a bit more from the heart, right? I mean, the way I met Brian is I turned up on a rainy day and Brian was like soaked through, standing outside up there with the ENIC out banners and stuff, and everything, it was pissing down with rain, and that was all great, but ultimately we just didn't get the traction from that. And there's been a lot of change since then. As Brian says, we're our standards and everything about Tottenham Hotspur has fallen a lot worse since those days. But I guess in a way now's as good a time of any to start a brand new movement that is structured and that can take things forward.
That it's got to be. I mean, again, anyone, whether you're a Spurs fan or not, whether you live in America, Canada, Mexico, where I'm playing in North American, you live in England, you live anywhere in the world, but you want this board out. If you have any ideas, anything, my email is there. Just email me. Hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. Here's my email. If you're on WhatsApp, your contact number, if you're okay giving your contact number out, I'll message you straight back, because something has got to be done. Like I said, other clubs, you look at Chelsea right now, Liverpool have done it with tickets.
Yeah.
They like Liverpool, they do it with tickets. Our joke, the trust turn up for their own protest and then don't turn up for the next week. They make a whole hullabaloo. We're going for ticket prices. Nothing's changed. They went for 1 week. Then apparently there was a illness amongst everyone at the trust on board level, because they must all live in the same house and went to the same restaurant and ate the same food.
Lasagna, no doubt.
And they didn't put out a message till the day after no one turned up. They knew everyone was going to be ill, but we won't message on the day before, say, listen, postponement of because the leaders are unwell. And everyone would have gone, do you know what? Fine. That makes sense. As long as you're the next home game. They do it the day after when no one turned up to apologise for the miscommunication. And that's the other. When I say communication, what I think cowards for Tottenham have done as well is PR is dreadful. Their PR is absolutely shocking. They pipe up whenever they want and say, "Oh, plan protest. We're against the board with da 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 da." If you look after the Crystal Palace one, after the Crystal Palace game, they gave a massive the silent majority. You need to realise now the people that have been trying to tell you the trouble with those. We need to act. We need to unite. We need to show this board that this ain't acceptable. And then the happy clapping sing-song brigade came up, and then they put up a statement: "Why the board don't deserve this? We're going to try and support the team." It's like, and they haven't said a word since then. Not a word. Not a. Okay, guys, we tried. Not just nothing. There's just absolutely nothing. They don't,
because they know that they've sold their soul to the devil. That's
yeah. But do you know what it is, Maz? They cancelled the protest because of the Sing Up Sharp Stay Up. Then they wanted to be a part of it. Whatever, fine. But then once this hasn't worked and you've lost a lot of people, like I said, my change for Tottenham scarf and banner is in the bin, and I've taken a photo of it on the bin, ready to use when I need to. But they haven't even come out with a statement now to go, "Do you know what, guys, we've got this wrong." If they just came out and said, "Do you know what, we've got this wrong, we shouldn't have cancelled the protest."
Brian, look, listen, right? Do you remember, right, when we talked about change for Tottenham, and our biggest thing as the main ENIC out group was that, what does change actually mean? Because your change might not be what our change is, and in the end, right, our fears have been proven right.
Yeah,
I'm not right now. I give them sort of credit for getting a couple of thousand people, 2,000-3,000 people to turn up those couple of times, right? But I do also think that one of the reasons why that happened was because of the displeasure at seeing us 17th and Ange ball not working, right? But that quickly changed. Obviously, that all died a death as soon as we won that Europa League, and ever since then, everyone's happy again.
Yeah.
Right. And now that we're 18th, right, rather than 17th, no one wants to turn up to a protest. So that just goes to show that really that the work that they done was superficial. Maybe if we'd done it at that time, right, we would have got those numbers because of the circumstances around that time. And when you said about them getting doing the good work with the media, and look, I don't agree with you on this. Right, I don't think that they especially done any good work. Again, the reason why the media jumped on it is because a massive club like Tottenham Hotspur, like they are now, is down in the doldrums, and it's a news cycle, it's a news story, and it's going to get clicks. Right, that's why they entertained.
Yeah, but they did. That's what was going on with us, man, and they didn't for us. That's what I'm saying. What the way they
because we speak the truth, and we're not willing to have our opinions changed. Right, with media speak and nonsense, whereas they are, and look where that got them, right? Soon as there was a relegation parade, right, they'll first to drop all their principles and everything in the toilet, right, and join the relegation brigade because all of a sudden we need to support the team. What a load of bollocks! How about support your club, right? Have standards, get our club back. How about that for a goal?
Yeah.
Sorry, Brian. I'm just
no. There's a comment that's just been put in by 10men ATP that said Billy T was on with Sean today, saying that they want fans to guide about the protest. See, they do a president. They want to leave everything in between, but then on the last day of the season, okay, rally round us.
It's too late.
We could be relegated.
Too late by then,
mate. You got to remember as well. After Everton, they're going to do the so-called the lap of whatever it is to thank the fans for their support from the season.
I heard that's been cancelled, Brian.
Yeah, because they're too spineless. Because they
know. I heard that was cancelled weeks ago.
Well, if it was, it just shows the state of the club. They're not going to have the players walk around and take what, and the management take what they've done, and also the club will just turn up the volume at half time and at full time and everything. So the which they do. And yeah, if look, put it this way: if I was going into the stadium, which I refuse to do now till they're gone, until
Me
they're
too.
gone,
Me too. I'm not going again.
I went. I said it after Levy, and when I was back this time, I went to Wolves at home, which I wish I hadn't done. I'm never going to a Wolves game in my life again, and away. Then I went to the Aston Villa game in the FA Cup because I just love the FA Cup. People that watch me long enough, every year I'm like, please win the FA Cup. It means everything to me. But after that, I was like, nope, that's it. That's it. I'm done. I can't. Thankfully, I didn't pay for the tickets. I didn't give ENIC any money. Thankfully, to Mr. Ben Daniel and Simeon Daniel. So they don't get a penny of my money. I don't give them a penny when I go in the stadium, regardless. I'd rather die of thirst than give them money for a soft drink or even use their water for free. But this is the thing, and then let's protest against Everton. Why? Because it's the fashionable thing to do now. People like me and Maz were doing this, but we were doing it when it was so unfashionable. We were doing it when it weren't about, okay, how can we get on TV? How can we get our social media impact up? How can we get whatever? How can we act like Robin Hood? You can't keep cancelling. I guarantee they'll cancel this one. I guarantee they'll go Everton, Everton, Everton. They'll get a load of where the fuck have you been? And then they'll go, do you know what? After the response we've had, we've decided against it because this fan base won't get the backing. Or because it won't. We never back down. If you loved us or hated us during that time, not concerned. One thing is for certain. Every time we said we were going to be there, we were there. Whether there was 10 of us, 20 of us, 100, no matter what, every home game, you'd see us there. Without foul.
I've known you long enough, Brian. I've known you long enough and know what your principles are, that when you say you'll do something, it is done. Don't matter if us would come by our bus parade that was probably empty. Anything,
mate. I would have gone. Like I said, the change for Spurs one where I came back, and if people were there will remember, Tina, who I love, who's the landlord of the Coach and Horses, ripped my ENIC out thing that was on my head, and the man in the top right, as you're looking at it, Maz, put it back together like it had never been ripped apart. I was just amazed. It was like the most amazing bit of putting a jigsaw.
One in a million chance,
mate. It was like you wouldn't. Anyway. I flew home. I was meant to fly home the week later.
I believe the first thing she did, Brian, is tell you not to stick it on her property.
No. Oh, yeah.
Hundreds of damn things everywhere.
No, she's like, don't let anyone stick anything on my property. Yeah. I'll hold you responsible. And I was like, Tina, trust me. I'll make sure it doesn't. But
I was with you in the coach.
Yeah, you came for breakfast, didn't you?
I did.
I flew. I was meant to come back the week later. I was going to fly to England a week later, but as soon as I heard that this was happening and it was a week earlier, at great expense, I changed my ticket. And Ilana came a week later. I was like, Ilana, I've got to go home. I cannot miss this protest. And I flew in a week early from Canada to be there. And I give you my word, if Lange and Vinay, or either of them, are still at this football club, once the World Cup is over, I will personally fly back again. And I will not leave till they're gone. I will not leave until they're gone. I will stand outside the training ground. I will stand outside. I don't care if I'm by myself. I wouldn't be, but I would.
I don't think you'll be by yourself, mate.
Oh, no, I don't think I would be at all.
Looks like I was at the Ben's End for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a slap, but I will be there. I will be there outside the training ground, and I don't care if I'm on my Todd. I don't care. I also wanted to do a massive thing where we walked from the training ground to, and it's a bit of a walk, but it's not a massive walk. A walk from the training ground to the stadium.
Yeah,
and just picking up people along the way that alleviate ENIC out. But I'm prepared to do that. I'm literally prepared on the match day to protest.
That's a great idea, that.
Yeah, but you got to remember, the only bad thing about it is if it's a match day and you're walking there, then they're not going to be in the training ground that day. But what you can do is on non-match days, you can do it. So there's people that are protesting at the training ground and then walk to the stadium picking people up along the way and just go mad at Lily White House. And it'll people pick up. This is the thing. There's so many things the group I was part of that wanted to do, but it's all dependent on people.
Yeah.
I want to, again...
there's loads of... Sorry,
on,
Cookie. Sorry to interrupt you, mate. I think I'm lagging a little bit.
It's all right.
There's loads of ideas that we can do, Brian, and I think as well is that we just need to ramp it up and make it more disruptive this time round.
Yep.
And there's some good idea. I've got some good ideas on how we can do that as well. So
well, that's why me and the other two people are doing the way we're doing. We're literally going to make sure everything's set in stone beforehand. Get a board sorted, and we're not going to do it just because, oh, you're my friend, so you're on the board. This is going to be people, like for public relations, it will be a person that specialises in public relations. So you've got people, again, at CFT that have done things and listened to the fans and then done the complete opposite. That's not going to win you any prizes. It's literally going to be, right, you're an expert in this, you're an expert in that, or you have a background in this, and it's all going to be set in stone. And we need to make sure that everything is set right before going, right, here you go, public. Here you go, Spurs fans. This is what we're doing. This is the mission. This is the vision. This is where we're going. This is what we want to do. We need your help if you want to be a part of it, whether it be through membership, whether it be through you can add ideas to it, whatever it may be. But like we said, there is no mistake on what this message is. There is no mistake on what the target is and what the aim is, and nothing will ever differ, ever. It will be ENIC out and whoever's on the board out. That's it. No, oh, we're unhappy with the manager, or we're unhappy with the transfers, or we're unhappy with this or that.
No, clear message.
One clear message that does not deviate from anything. The ownership, the lack of investment, blah, blah. Not about the quality of players. If the ball players... Mate, that's what ENIC are doing. It is solely about making sure that ENIC and the board know and the supporters know there is one message. There's not change for Spurs and change means this and change means that, or it could possibly mean this, it could possibly mean that. This, whatever you want to call it, group or whatever you want to label it as, is going to be so clear to everyone and people at the club that there is only one mission, there is only one goal, and that is it. That is it. Hook, line, and sinker. You either buy in, as in people that want to join this and actually really lend their support, whether it be UK-based, world-based, whatever. But this is what's going to happen, and we're going to make damn sure that people know that we're about, and this is going to be our chief aim, or our only aim, and we don't stop till it's done. End of.
Yep. Fair play.
Well, Brian, just keep us all in the loop, man.
Of course, brother.
So we know what's coming.
Of course, no problem.
Same here, Brian, obviously.
Yeah, same for all of us.
Yeah, listen, I know we're up the road a bit. Like, obviously, I'm up in Manchester now. Mark's down in the southwest. But we'll do all we can, Brian, to get messages out there and however we can help. You know, whenever I can get down to a protest at that ground, or if you've arranged it for the training ground for the day, whatever it is, I will do my utmost to be there. I can't say fairer than that.
I would say, guys, it's more than just protesting now. I think if this executes like I think Brian wants to execute it, it will be more of it'll be like a movement, like a pressure group movement. Like you have in politics, right? And it will be official members part of this movement. And once you start getting the numbers and they can be verified that this is the official numbers of this movement and pressure group, the actions that the group makes, right, towards the club, they'll have to open up communications, because once let's just say hypothetically, right? Let's say Brian and the board, right, get 10, 20, 30,000 members worldwide.
Yeah.
That is a big voice. That is a big voice, right? And when you write then a letter to the club and they know that you've got 30,000 members, right, they're going to have to listen.
Fair dues.
Exactly. And you got to remember as well, Mark, it doesn't matter where you live
Yeah.
to be a part of it. You can all be a part of it. But the thing is as well, I'm sure there's many Spurs fans in Manchester. So those Spurs fans in Manchester, when Spurs are playing Manchester City, United, or whoever's in Manchester or around that area,
Liverpool, Everton.
no, but I mean in the Championship
Yeah.
or in the Championship,
Yeah.
those fans that live there can go protest outside the away supporters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's away games. It doesn't matter where you are. Obviously, the main aim is to make it as toxic as possible for the board in the stadium.
Yeah.
But
what can we do now, Brian? No, what can we do now, Maz, Sheriff, Cookie, Chat? What can we do now?
It's too late now, in my opinion.
I need to take action now. I can't. What can we do now till the end of the season?
Unfortunately,
just get
you, Danielist. I'll tell you now, and I said it on We Are Tottenham TV, and I joked about it. So many people, when CFT said we're going to back the team back, and everyone went. There's so many people that said, "Oh yeah, I think it's the right move. Let's wait to find out where we are next season, and then I'm all in. I'm going to protest." I'll tell you now, if we stay up, all the fans that said stay up or stay down or go down, we're protesting. All those people that said if we stay up, we're going to protest no matter what, they'll go, "Oh my God, what a relief. What a relief Spurs stayed up. Oh my God, what a season to regret. Let's just sit back and enjoy our summer. Let's enjoy the World Cup. And after the transfer window, then we'll see where we are. Then the amount of times I've heard, if this happens, we will protest. If sacking Pochettino was the last straw for a lot of people, those people were still going, "Oh, this is the last straw." There's nothing this season, nothing we can do.
No,
nothing.
It's too late.
After Brighton and drawing 2-2 in a game we should have won and could have won at full time, to not even have one in your couch chant, not to sit behind and voice your anger, and they won't even do that. They won't even do that. Next home game is Leeds. I think personally that could be the game that confirms it, that we're down. And that could happen. I guarantee when we go down, if we go down, the full-time whistle will go. There'll be boos, whatever, and then they'll go to the goal line bar and give Enoch more money. They won't do anything. This is why. Do you know what? You know when they say, Dan, the best come to those who wait. It's sometimes it's better to say, do you know what? This has come too late. We've only got 5 games. You will not, and only 2 of them at home. Only 2 of them at home. There is no way you can get such a strong message out, and the fans go, "Oh, do you know what? You're right." And I don't want to make this resemble CFT, where they'll bottle things. They care about the numbers. I've stood there with 4 people. I don't care about the numbers. I don't care if it looks embarrassing. I stand by my beliefs. As do you 5 or 4. As do people in the chat. I don't. The Diamond's in the house. Sue Smith, big up Diamond.
Big up Sue.
Shit. I've never once backed down, regardless, and I would rather, if I have to wait till next season to get this up and running with the people I'm doing it with, and get it absolutely flawless, ready to go, rather than try and rush something for 2 games, then I am prepared to make sure everything is going in one direction where people can completely understand what the message is, and then we go from there. And I still think to this day, even if we get relegated with this movement, still the matchday homegoing fans will do fuck all. Everyone else around the world and that don't go to games will be ready to climb the walls and ready to go to war. But majority of that fan base inside the stadium won't care. They'll be there. They'll be there next year. going, oh my God, what a wonderful experience it is. We should win all these games in the Championship and be straight back up, which won't happen.
Can I just say, just like side dactar, that is why I won't go in the bloody place, mate. Because I know who owns it.
Mate, yeah, the number 8, mate, you need to trust me. You need to go to the Coaching Horses. It's where the home of Levy Out is, where all of us drink. That's where you need to go, mate. When you get into the Coaching Horses, which looks like a real old-fashioned boozer at the front, like the actual front of the bar.
Proper
But then when you turn right and walk into the back, it's a massive back area, roofed over apart from the back bit, TVs everywhere, and it is non-stop Levy and Enoch Out stuff. That's, if anyone is Enoch Out and want to start chants, I can't tell you strongly enough, go to the Coaching Horses.
And they sell Amstel.
There you go.
Which is beautiful.
There you go. And on that note, we're going to change slightly direction of where we're going, because we've got, I can see up in the corner here, 12 starred, and I'd imagine a few of them are questions.
Most of them are. They all are, I think, mate.
Right. So I don't know how you all are for time. Obviously, when you've got to jump, you've got to jump. But we can start with the questions, and I'm sure there's plenty to do with Enoch Out. I'm just going to bring them up on my little screen, and then Mark will obviously carry on in the chat. I'll know where I am, so that's fine. Here we go. Pete Chambers is an Arsenal fan who's a regular. He's in our WhatsApp group. Very nice chat, by the way, Pete. Doesn't hold his opinions back either on Tottenham or Arsenal, by the way. Big up, Pete. He says, and we can be as brief or as long as you want on these. I can rattle through them. We can do whatever you want. Pete says, questions to the panel in chat. Who are Enoch? Are they Yanks? Where do they come from? So I would say Brian or Maz is probably best to answer.
They're English. They're English. Enoch, the owner of Enoch, is a guy called Joe Lewis, who is, see you later on, darling. He is English, but he now lives on his boat in the Bahamas as a tax exile. Probably doesn't know what day of the week it is, let alone not know Spurs are playing. Daniel Levy is his godson. They are all English. They are all English. It stands for what? I keep forgetting. English National Investment Company.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So they are just vile people that only care about the money.
Anyone want to add to that?
One suggestion.
I would say that just go on Google
Joe Lewis, South America.
Yeah,
tell you everything.
Yeah, let's not talk about Patagonia of all things. Yeah, they just say they're not like people.
Well, I'll tell you what, that'll tell you a lot what you need to know.
Yeah.
There you go. Maz, was you going to say something? Go on, mate.
I was going to say, like, just if you don't know who they are, just go on Wikipedia and you get like an overview of who they are and what they are.
What I do love is I keep remembering you can edit Wikipedia. So many times I've wanted to go on there and muck about with it. So many times I've wanted to.
Enoch are an investment company that distinctly lack ambition when it comes to football.
Yes, most definitely. Yes. If you want any more information, Pete, we'll try and help you out on it as best we can, mate.
I've nicknamed them English National Investment. See you next Tuesday.
Yeah, that's it. So Dan, anything to add to that, or are you waiting for the next question?
No, we don't talk about this.
There you go. He's just highlighting that. Sammy's come in and said, what year was it we were deducted points? Was it the late 80s?
90-something.
1994.
It was
1994 when we signed Klinsmann. Klinsmann signed for Tottenham Hotspur when we were 12 points deducted out of the FA Cup and a fine. He still came to the club. Then Sugar got it down to 6 points and an FA Cup ban. Then he went in it again, and it was 0 points deducted in the FA Cup, and we got to the semi-final.
Yeah.
And back in. But also, he's right, we also had it in 88, 89, when it was our West Stand was late opening, and they had to postpone it. Yeah. They had to postpone the first game of the season. Gazza's first game was away at Newcastle when it should have been home to Coventry.
There you go. Look, how much information do you want on a question, Sammy? Unbelievable what these people remember. My word, unbelievable. We'll go on to the next question from Cyril McCoys. And he says, if we get relegated, who stays at the club? Go on, I'll let you go.
Who cares?
We're on about players.
Who cares?
I'd go with, well, first of all, if we go down, does De Zerbi stay?
Yes.
You say that, Maz, but I think De Zerbi stays. But when he says, right, I want player A and player B, they're like, no, we'll get you a cheaper version.
That is the beauty of De Zerbi. That is why I've got to say, I don't have any. There's no one player in this team that I give a damn about. Right? If you asked me a year ago which player do I have anything sort of for, it would have been Van der Ven, because I just saw shades of Jan Vertonghen in him, like just that. His demeanor, not necessarily his. For me, Jan Vertonghen's one of it may be my favorite ever defender, full stop. But
I hate to say I'm with Matt. He's my second favorite ever Spurs player ever.
Well, so anyway, but however, the way that Van der Ven has conducted himself this season, I despise him, if I'm honest with you. I think that he's shown such a lack of respect for the fans and the club and his performances that I couldn't give a monkey's who leaves Tottenham Hotspur. Sonny and Kane were probably the last players that I gave a damn about, and they're gone.
So for you, Maz, if we go down, so clean sweep and a lot of them, have the youth players in and whatever they decide to do, and you'll go with what they're happy with, and that's their problem.
Yeah, I mean,
type of thing, if you know what I mean.
For me, yeah, I'm at the stage now where I'm more interested in what's happening in the boardroom and what the ownership are doing than the actual football. Now, if I'm honest with you, I'm at that stage.
Yeah. Yeah,
look,
Dan.
If these players send us down, I want them all of them out, and really most of them out. Really, to be honest, it's a disgrace, isn't it, from these players getting us relegated? They're part of the problem as well. Disgrace, man. I don't care who stays. Honestly, if most of them left, I wouldn't really give two shits. They've let us down, man, massively.
Do you know what? That's exactly my thing on it, Dan. When Van der Ven come to the club, right, I followed him in from his beginning of his days at Wolfsburg.
Yeah, I did.
And I can remember sitting in the front room on the chair thinking to myself, one day, I hope we sign this kid, right? Because I thought he was really going to be something special.
Yeah.
Right. And then when he was in the race with Tapsoba, it was a Tapsoba or it was a Van der Ven in the newspaper type of things, or whatever you saw. That's where it was. And I was still like really hopeful. And in the end, we got him. And I thought, wow, this is proper signing again. This kid is going to be something special. You can just see he can play football. But his development has been so stifled since he's been at Tottenham. And when you watch him, he can't head a ball, right, to save his life. It's not his fault. I just don't think
his tackling's got worse.
Well, that was the next thing. His tackling's got worse. His attitude stinks, right? Like totally stinks. And I'm at the point now where if we go down, right, clean sweep the lot of them out. Get rid of a lot of them. Bring the kids back. I don't care. Bring Mikey Moore back. Bring Ashley Phillips back. Bring Alfie back. I just said, yeah, I got there, Brian. He was third in line. Bring Will Lancashire back.
Alfie's never third. Don't put Alfie third.
Do you know what I mean?
Don't put Alfie third. What I will say with this though, we have to be realistic. I agree that most of the players that go down should be ushered out the door. But let's be serious now. It ain't going to happen.
No.
I mean, people I've seen going mad, going, "Oh my God, look at Kulu. He's decided to stay whether we go up or down." I'm like,
his career's done.
Who's going to want to sign a player? Who's going to want to sign a player who hasn't played for over a year has had an awful knee injury. How? What? It's apparently people are saying as well that Solanke said he'll stay. Oh, well done, good, bully for him. Bully for him.
Let me break it to people.
Well, there's
Cooley
5 goals
isn't
next
going to be a
season we're gonna
Ledley
get,
King
man.
where he can play with one knee. Trust me. There's only one person
Yeah.
who can ever play with one knee, and that was Ledley King. No one else is ever repeating that.
Yeah, and I will say, if we do when we go to the Championship next season,
Can you be positive, please, Mark, or is this the realism channel? Come on,
well,
mate.
it is the realism channel.
Go on,
We
then.
ain't coming back up with a load of kids. You need men in the Championship. That's a tough old league.
It's another
Friday and Tuesday, whenever you get to play. No, it's not always on a Saturday, is it?
That's a whole nother podcast, that, mate.
Yeah. I
That's
know,
a whole nother podcast.
but
We men.
you need experience of men in the Championship. That's a tough old league.
Well, and that is a great segue into the next question. I hope that's all right for you, Cyril.
It was almost as though I knew what was going on.
Yeah, and Danny's coming. What quality of player do we target or attract if we go down? Whoever wants to go.
The
Probably-
same players that we attract now.
Yeah, probably the ones where the teams are struggling and the vultures start circling, like we always do, and then fly down to pick the carcass.
Yeah. Yeah,
No,
I get that.
I know what I said. Is a little bit, jovial, but I'm being serious. I mean, like Solanke, Championship level striker, Richarlison,
Danzo.
He hasn't great. Danzo, I think Danzo's a good defender.
I think he is as well. Do you think he stays though?
He will stay. I think.
Yeah,
I think he will
I hope
stay,
he does.
But
He is one player I hope he does stay for the Championship, actually.
But when we say what target did we attract? I mean, let's be honest. Which quality players have we attracted to Tottenham Hotspur in the last 6 years?
0.
Perisic. I mean, Perisic ain't coming to the end of his career, but he's the last.
Perisic was about 40 though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
He's
we could've
35, isn't he?
Xavi ain't
No.
going to stay around. He's going to be,
No.
he's going to go. He's going to go elsewhere.
What about the likes of? Do you see Bergvall and Gray staying, Maz?
No,
Depends what offers we get.
Do you not?
depends who comes in for them.
Yeah.
They might not have a choice, but it depends who comes in.
Like, in all honesty, and I'm going to say again, I think there's a real player in Archie Gray. The problem I think we have with Archie Gray is you look at all the big clubs, they bring in their youth 1 or 2 at a time, surrounded by excellence to help usher them and develop them through a game. We sign loads of them and go, off you go. Off you go, in you go in the deep end, see if you can swim with no real quality around them. I think really there is a player in. I know a lot of people, he's like Marmite to a lot of people. Bergvall, but I will say with Archie Gray, I would rather, I'm being serious here, if we get relegated,
Keep Archie Gray.
I'd like to keep Archie Gray, but I think the smartest thing to do, if Leeds come calling for him on loan, send him on loan to Leeds for a year, rather than a big club coming in and going, right, we'll give you 40, 50, whatever the 30, whatever. I'd rather have Archie Gray on the books and send him out on loan to get more Premier League experience, unless he's prepared to play in the Championship, if he is, then all day long. But we've got to stop with so many youth players. I know we're talking about divides and whatever, but I'm talking about in the Premier League, our biggest failure has been signing crap or playing youngsters. When Dele Alli came in, look at that team he had around him. If he was having an off day, if he weren't having the greatest game, he was low on confidence, or if he'd got mouthy or gone in with a bad tackle, the rest of the team would go, whoa, Dele, just relax. We're here. We got you. Don't lose your rag. We need you, but we're going to help you get through it.
Yeah.
And now they're just thrown in and go, Archie Gray, a doggy who's always injured, but young still. You could go through it. Bergvall, off you go. All of you together. Off you go. Get us out of this. It's nowhere for them. But I will say, what I think Wolves did very smartly, very, very smartly, is during the January transfer window, they took the Southampton striker Armstrong to the Premier League. So when they go down, and they are officially down now, they've got a 25 goal a season Championship striker who knows that league inside out. He wasn't bought for this season. He was bought for next season. So Wolves, and you got to remember, and people will laugh at this, you look at the players that Wolves have had to sell because they're Wolves. Your Netos, your who's the one that went to the Saudi League, the midfielder, Neves.
Well, Ruben Neves, yeah.
Ruben Neves. They've had Neto, they've had that, they've had Al Signori, they've had Cunha, who went to... They identify some top talent. They just can't keep hold of them because of who they are.
Yeah.
But mate, if I could get Wolves recruitment team in here right now, I'd have them all day over ours.
I'd have 2 or 3 others as well. Brighton.
Yeah,
Brentford.
Brighton, Bournemouth.
Brighton. I was going to say them. Brighton, Brentford, or Bournemouth.
Bournemouth last season lost 3 of their centre. They lost 3 of their back 4 to PSG, Liverpool, and Real Madrid at huge profits. And you look at Bournemouth as a stadium, their entire stadium is smaller than our South Stand.
Yeah.
I say this.
They already have the people ready to go. They sold Semenyo. I guarantee the person they bought in coming in in the summer will be an absolute hit. They know, and Brighton know ahead of who's going. They know the next one already. Through their.
I'll say something about Bournemouth. Iriola has just said he's not signing a new contract and he's off at the end of the season. They've already got the next one lined up.
They have. They announced it yesterday.
Yes.
They announced it yesterday.
Brighton, Bournemouth, and Brentford. There's 3 proper clubs there.
I'm also thoroughly convinced that he didn't make the announcement public, Iriola, about leaving until we got a manager in, just so he didn't have to get linked with us. He's like, right, they've got a manager. I'm not going to get it. Who in their right mind wants to come here? And it is what it is. It is what it is. But when the question was the quality we can attract, this is the thing. All this ITKs and everything are going, oh, this player wants to come, but it's all based on if we stay up. Every single transfer is going to be based on if we stay up.
Oh, it's a load of bullshit, man.
They're coming up. Oh, we want Sensi from Bournemouth. Robertson, we want this one. Remember that they're all free transfers.
Yeah, and only if we stay up.
Only if we stay up. And it's like, why are we even looking? Big up, Tom, and big up, Fran. Honey, Fran.
Tom.
They're all... Oh, is Rumi in here?
Yeah, Rumi is in
it. Rumi here as well.
Yeah, yes. Rumi's
I brought his comment up just a minute ago, mate. I'll try and find it again.
There I miss Rumi. I'm sorry, Rumi. I'll slap myself on the wrist there. But yeah, this is the thing. Hearing all these transfers, all based on if we stay up. Well, no shit, Sherlock.
No shit, Sherlock.
No shit, Sherlock.
And that says it all, doesn't it?
It's just
Brian. I know, Brian. I'm trying to keep you under control here because I can see you're right, just a little bit more at a time.
Oh, I'm good. So I'm good.
I know you're good. I know you're good.
I'm going to be calm.
I know.
It'll be nice and calm. But I'm very thankful to have you keeping an eye on me just in case I escape the leash.
The old gasket blowing and all that. I'm still waiting for Joey to come on for the gasket blow moment. Anyway, he's promised me that one. Now, Brian, this next question may well be for you, but I'll ask all of
Is it Rudolph?
And there we go.
Oh,
yeah. I wagged my finger at him. I wagged my finger at him when I brought it up earlier.
One of my very, 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 very nearest and dearest. Like I speak to him every single day. I love this man.
He's a top bloke.
He's a very, very funny guy. I think there's potential. I think Skippy might be generational and Ballon d'Or worthy. Worthy, according to section of our fans. I swear to God, if we sign people like Skip and Wingsback and Walker, this fan base on majority will go, oh, do you know what? They're proper Spurs. They've got experience. They know the club. This is great business. And let's
get rid of them. The first, 2 of them, they couldn't wait to get rid of.
If that happens, and I see the fan base do it, I will not be held responsible for whatever I do. I will sign a waiver saying, listen, anything I say,
Wait.
I am not taking back under any stretch of the imagination. They'll probably try to get Dele out of retirement. Well, mate, if we keep Ben Davies and sign Carl Walker, 11 years later, our fullback will be Davies and Walker.
Yeah. Combined age of like six.
I can't wait until Davies becomes our manager.
It'll happen one day.
Combined age.
And don't tell me they haven't thought about bringing Walker back or Walker and Skip. If anyone thinks they haven't thought about that, then
Of course they have.
mate, of course.
Our two fullbacks, combined age 65.
There you go.
Yeah.
Probably older
Or
than
70.
that.
I don't know.
I'm going to move on to the next question. We touched on this briefly. Big up, Craig, by the way.
Yeah,
great stuff, mate. Great stuff. It brought a smile to everyone's face. That was brilliant.
What he does best.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. We did touch on this, but has anyone to add to this question from Lee Payne? Has anyone got anything to add to that? Because we did talk about this sort of stuff earlier on, but I didn't want to be rude and not bring his question up. Good question, Lee. And like I say, we spoke about it earlier on, or Brian and Maz more than anyone else. Anyone got anything else to say about what we could do, what we should be doing? And something that I've wrote down here as well that might add to it as well. In what way, whether it be leaflet messaging or whatever the way to get it across, a YouTube channel maybe as suggested by dedicated to it, like Stu said in the chat earlier, the sporting journey.
Mm-hmm.
What else can we do to either get fans to come across to our side, if you like, in a positive type of way, Brian, without it being too? Because I get the thing for pitch invasions. I don't know how.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would work. I don't know if you'd ever get on the pitch. To be honest, could you get on the pitch there?
Well, the thing is, I'll go very quickly here because I want Dan and you two to speak. Me and Maz have said ours, and then we can add to it. But when we did our balloons under the Stellini and Mason part of the season, we got them on no problem. But when Change for Tottenham did it once, and they made it aware there's going to be balloons, Spurs put so much security around the pitch to stop that happening because they've been told we don't want the balloon. You can't get the balloons. You want.
Yeah.
And then what some fans did, which was wrong, was blowing them up in the concourse. So they saw them and they were going around popping them.
Yeah, got you.
They all should have been brought up and then just thrown on. But people were trying to get down to the front row to get them onto the pitch.
Yeah.
And but you could still get it from wherever you were, and hopefully people going down will just carry on getting it over. So that would have worked. We did toy with the ideas of, instead of balloons, like I think Coventry did it, or another team, tennis balls with Enoch out, or Levy out. But the thing is, in today's world, you do that, it's a big problem with the Premier League. It's a big problem with, and then Spurs with all the security they've got. They'll backtrack where every ball has come from, the seat number, and then you're fucked. Then you're fucked. So you can't even do that. I wanted nothing more. I've said before, if the Everton game, if I would go in that stadium, but I wouldn't, I'd invade the pitch. What do I care? I live in Canada. I don't want a season ticket. I don't want to give them any fucking money. What does a 3-year ban or lifetime ban because I ran onto the pitch means absolutely nothing to me. Nothing. So there are so many ideas, and it's going to be good to hear with the people in the chat and what you guys think. Me and Maz will go quiet for a bit, but there's so many things tried. But what I will say with this is, even if they do it Everton, it's too late. As soon as you do that protest, Levy, it rolls off the tongue. Enoch and the board will just walk away and go, right, they'll be quiet now for 3 months. Because the season's over. That last day of the season, although it will make a stand, but I don't trust Change for Tottenham, Cowards for Tottenham, whatever, and whoever does it, for them to even make a dent. And I actually think the way they go, Change for Tottenham would probably cancel it because there's not too many people, and that's all they care about. And like I've said a million times, if people from Change for Spurs, they all have my number. They all know that I stood by them, promoted them, got them on the channels, did loads of stuff behind the scenes. Even that time, do you remember when Stell went absolutely nuts at them because they ducked out of the show? And I literally had to act as peacemaker between Change for Tottenham and Stell, and got Jay back on the show and Billy to kind of clear the air with them. I did a lot behind the scenes and everything. And then you got to remember, for the people like myself, Maz, and the people that were there every single home game at the training grounds, we did a lot of work. We got the message out. We got the trust going, oh no, we best send out 4 questions and getting a bullshit answer. We did everything. And then they took over and they started doing well. But then they just started doing things like not attending their own protests or cancelling them or whatever. There were people that were taking days off to travel from different parts of England, Scotland, and making it a day trip. There was a load of people that were coming for the protest for Nottingham Forest and Brighton.
Me,
and booked days off work just for them to say, "Oh yeah, we're
as well, Brian."
We was all there.
Comes in from Norway.
But that's the thing. That they and I think what they've done, and I'll tell them to their face if they call me or they see this and they're like, "Brian, why are you doing this?" I'll say, "Because you led me to it." I didn't stand outside training grounds for 17 days in the freezing cold with different amounts of people each day and outside the club shop for 2 years straight. Come rain, snow, wind, rain, just for this to happen. So
I think that CFT underestimated how much support that Brian and at the time Tottenham away gave them. I know for a fact that, I mean, at the time Tottenham away we had like 36,000 subs. I know for a fact that we got a lot of people down there, as did Brian. Right, we had, when we were down there, so many people came up to us, saying, "We love your channels, love Tottenham away," right, and etc. etc. And I know you were down there, you know, Cookie and Sheriff as well.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, you know, now they don't have any of our support. They don't have any of our support.
And this is why I said earlier, Maz, about, you know, we need to do something here and make it clear. Yeah. Listen, we said on here months ago, right, that something had to be done as far as ENIC out was concerned. I know you lads have been saying it for a long time, right? But we're a new channel, yeah, relatively. Yeah. All you lads know how we feel about the situation at Tottenham and how we look at it. Right. And something has to be formed. Something new, like you've all said, with a new identity and one message only. It's as simple as that. Right. I know I make it sound simple. It's not quite as simple as that. But there's been some great suggestions that have been put in by the people in the chat. On that note, before anyone else speaks, please, I haven't asked once tonight. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, please do, and make sure you subscribe over to Maz at Spurs Corner, subscribe to the Dan List, and subscribe to Brian at Tottenham on Tour. Right? I tell you now, all of these channels have one message, which is simple, and it will always be the same until they're not here anymore. And it's as simple as ENIC out. They've had their chance, right? No one can say since Levy went they haven't had their chance, right? That's for anyone who gave it to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that. They've had their chance. Dan, I'll let you speak for a bit on anything that you want to say, mate. Go on.
Yeah, I'm going to check out. I've got to check out. I've just got to deal with something. But I want to say, fantastic show. Yeah, big up to everyone on the panel. Big up to everyone in the chat as well. Yeah, supporting the show with all your comments. Fantastic stuff. We've got to get on board. ENIC out. I'm exhausted by it all. I've got to find that fight. I've got to find that fight. I will.
You've got it in you,
I
mate.
will.
Don't you
I will
worry
find
about
that fight. But I'm
Yeah.
not interested in many stuff right now about Spurs, other than thinking about ENIC out, and I just ain't got the energy, to talk about the games, the tactics. It's just it's so bad when the relegation fight. And no one's doing much about it. The fan base, so it's so demotivating. But I'll keep sending the message out on my channel and whoever other channel I go on. And yeah, Brian, I really hope your thing gets off the ground. And
We'll do.
yeah,
We
we'll
will.
support that. I'm sure everyone in the chat will, and get behind that new movement. And I can't wait for it. So keep me in the loop. So I want to check out to everyone. Big up to everyone. Good night.
Yeah.
Love to you all.
Dan,
Take care
just
of
one quick
yourselves.
thing.
Good to
There's
see
one
Subscribe
quick
and
thing.
subscribe.
Dan, one quick thing. Let's try and not play phone tag tomorrow. Let's actually try and chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're it at the moment, so I
Yeah.
don't know what that means. Who calls who? But yeah, we will speak tomorrow. Let's not play phone tag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers,
And
Brian. Take care,
I'll
guys.
I'll give you a tinkle, Dan. Don't worry. All right,
Take
mate.
care, man. See you later,
Take
guys.
care, mate. Take care.
Cheers,
Thank
Dan.
you. Thank you.
Big up, mate.
Big up to Dan. Great stuff from Dan coming on tonight, giving his time up. Let me see where I am. So that was Lee. Lee, we'll leave it at there for the time being. I'm sure there'll be plenty of shows where we'll be talking about this stuff. What does anyone think about having a YouTube channel dedicated to ENIC out?
I think one of the mistakes that Change for Tottenham made was they were telegraphing what they were going to do to the club
Yeah.
publicly, and they watch all these channels and they know what's happening, so they've got time to prepare. So
Got you.
whilst I get why you would want to have a YouTube channel to promote it,
Yeah.
I actually think that telegraphing what the plans will be to the club isn't a good idea.
It's like Brian said with the balloons,
mate.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Blowing them up in the concourse, they're ready with pins and that, popping them.
Yeah. No, I just thought I'd ask the question. That was all. Big up to you, Lee.
No, let me just say on that as well, Mark.
Go on.
Having a YouTube channel can work, but it doesn't mean you have to talk about plans. You could use it. You could have people, let's just say us four with the board, and we're like, right, we are this movement. This is what we're doing, as in this is our mission, not what we got planned kind of thing, because that's where a newsletter comes out. If you're a member, we'll send newsletters and whatever comes out, so the fans that care know what's going on. But you can use this as a platform to say, if anyone has any ideas or discussions or points, it doesn't need to be what we're going to do on a match day. It could be what we could do up north. It could be what we could do here in North America. It could be in the Far East where they have AIA and the sponsors. There are so much that this is what we want. This is the thing as well. You use your YouTube channel as a platform to kind of say, right, this is what we're doing, as in this is what this group is about. But we're not. Maz is absolutely right, because everything we did, even when we didn't tell them, Levy used to send his spotters out, and literally he'd be talking, and we had people on the security that said, even the security of the stadium were like, guys, we totally agree with you, but we can't say anything for obvious reasons. And there was some security that were like, you got to move on, you got to move away. And the others came out and went, no, they don't.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. They can do what they want. This isn't on Tottenham's private property. We're not on. If we're on the club shop grounds and everything, then they can say it like, this is private property. Get the fuck off. They can't on the other side of the road. So that people have tried it, and we're like, no. But we don't tell them anything that we have planned. But they used to send their spotters out, and they'd literally take videos, and we realised who they were and started going, hi Daniel, hi Donna, and just taking the piss, and then they moved on. So having the channel to get like-minded fans together to discuss things and take ideas, all for it. Saying, right, this is the plan of action. We ain't doing, because like Maz rightfully said, is the club. They hate myself. They actually they know who I am. I've had it when I was outside the stadium or the NFL protests, when I went to go in one section, then I went to go out and quickly come back in. They're like, they moved the normal security to Spurs security, said, no, Brian, you're not coming in. We know who you are. They know, they hate people like me, Stell, your Boogies, your Billy Kahns. the Maz, because they see our faces and they know they're all watching. They have people. You got to remember, they have social media people to just be trolls in the chat and target people on Twitter and everything. They see and know everything that's happening before it happens. So
that's the way of the world these days, though, Brian.
Yeah, and they can't be made aware of what's about to happen.
Yeah,
and that's why, again, having members or subscription based where people are buying into it, it won't be much. Like I said, £5, £10 a year, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I get it.
When you invest that £10, as little as it is, we know you've got your attention. We know you are wanting change. We know that you understand what we're trying to do. Everything will be accounted for on the website we create and blah, blah, blah. This is where this... So there's going to be no total transparency, but it is only to make the ownerships and the board's life misery.
Yeah. Fair play. Fair play. There are a couple of questions that were on that subject. So if I don't bring that up, and that's the sporting journey one from you, you've put about videos for a YouTube channel, and Pete's also put to the panel, why don't you guys create a separate YouTube channel? So I think we've covered that on those. The next one is just Andy Lester, 7 months a member. Thanks, Andy. Really appreciate that, mate.
Big up, Andy.
And just to change the subject slightly, have West Ham given us a foot in the door to stay up?
Well, they have. Depends if we got Steelies on and they don't squash our feet and break our toes. You know what I mean? Which is what Tottenham normally do.
I think ultimately, yes, they've, if they got the win and they made the gap to 4 points, then the pressure on us would have been immense. And we know how our players and the club handles pressure not very well. However, we ultimately still have to win our games. And that's where the problem lies, is we can't guarantee we're going to win any game, let alone draw a game. And Nuno and that current West Ham team, they could pull a result out of the bag here and there. So I think the only way we can save ourselves is if we save ourselves, not if other clubs do it for us.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. The way I look at it is that we don't even look like winning a game. And you look at the other teams in and around us, the fight and the togetherness we got none of that. I've not seen it once.
I still think we need 3 wins, Mark, to stay
I
up.
think we need a bloody miracle. I think we need a bloody miracle.
And that's at a minimum.
Yeah.
I thought 40 points would be enough, but it might not even be enough at 40 points,
It's come to the point now where West Ham just need to match us.
Yeah.
That's all they need. That's all they need to do.
Yeah.
You need to match us. If the good thing, I think, and I think it could be one kind of for us, is on Saturday we play Wolves as they play Everton at exactly the same time.
Yeah.
Go into this game not thinking, oh my God, West Ham have slept up, we have to, or West Ham have won, or whatever. Now we need, not knowing, obviously they'll know at half time, and I'm sure, like you see in today's age, when it's the relegation or championship, the fans will let them know because they're checking on their apps and it comes through, so they'll know. But I honestly think that us playing at the same time, I wish we were doing it more often. I can't see us getting anything from our home game. I just can't. Leeds will be safe. They will play. And when it comes to Everton, I think it's going to be too late. I think it's done by then. And even if it isn't, Everton are challenging for Europe and possibly Champions League if they go on a major run.
Yeah.
They'll come in to make up the numbers. So I think those 2 home games you take away. And it's Wolves, where I don't expect anything. Wolves, us to Wolves are like what Man City is to us. We just can't beat them. We just cannot do it. Home or away, and then it's Villa.
Yeah. Some hard matches coming up for us because we can't beat ourselves at the moment, let alone anyone else.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't come to the stage where Chelsea get the honour to relegate us.
Oh, it
it's
might well happen,
It's
mate.
written in the stars. It's written in the stars.
It might well happen,
You
Mark.
know, because you know as well as I know, there'll be murals, there'll be singing, they'll remember it forever.
Sheriff,
See,
my best. Sorry.
Oh, no, go on, you go
I was
first,
gonna
man.
say my best mate is a Chelsea fan, and he literally just texted me now because I said to him gutted about them losing to Brighton, right? And he goes, you know what? He goes, I'm going to go down to the bookies and put us to lose every single game from now to the end of the season, apart from when we play you and relegate you.
Yeah.
So they even, regardless of how bad they are, they always say, "Yeah, we're going to beat you." That's what they think.
Well, this is how bad. Look, this is how bad this season could be. The Filth could win the league. Could. West Ham could stay up at our expense, and it could be Chelsea of all teams that relegate us. So 3 of our deadliest rivals could all have something on us, and yet still Spurs fans will go, "Oh, it's a coincidence. These things happen." I'll be like, "Oh yeah." So Arsenal winning the league, a coincidence after 24 years or 22 years of not winning the league. West Ham beating us to relegation, which has never been an issue before, and Chelsea of all teams at Stamford Bridge be the team to relegate us. They'll all be having a field day. They'll all combine as a combined outfit to rip the piss out of us, and rightfully so. And yet still nothing. And you just know with Chelsea losing to Brighton, their next home game, there'll be more protests and anarchy. Since their last one, they've lost to United. Oh no, their protest was for United, wasn't it? And now they're going to have lost to Brighton. They will have a mother of all protests, and there'll be thousands. I wouldn't be surprised if they plan a last home game of the season boycott, and they'll do it.
Yeah, they will.
For not finishing in Europe. That's the lengths they'll go to.
Yeah, they will.
Just think though, guys.
I've got to go to Everton. It's the last time I'm going to see us in the Premier League. I have to see that.
Just think of what a great party though we'll have. Like, you know, the fan base will cheer and throw a party when we get relegated. It'll be brilliant.
Yep.
Don't, mate. Honestly, it riles the shit out of me, mate. You can't. Don't even go down that road, Maz. At the
I
moment.
get daily messages off a Chelsea fan that I know saying about like different things about the championship, and I'm sure soon it'll ramp up when we're due to play them.
No doubt. Wankers.
Exactly.
And we move on to this one from Dave. Spurs syndrome. So it's a question for the panel. If we go down, do you trust our current owners, directors, and scouting network to get us straight back up, knowing they can't invest correctly? I think you've answered your own question there.
Yeah,
Dave.
I was going to say, I think he's answered it.
Yeah,
That's why I'm not down with delegation.
Right.
Because I don't. Because look, and I get Stel's point, and I know that, you know, that is one way of him. Well, that's not him directly, but inflicting misery on the owners, which ultimately forces them to buck up their ideas or sell up or whatever. I just don't believe they will. I don't think they have the capability to get up. They don't have the capability to hire high-level, mid-level management, let alone hire new coaches, get players in, and all that sort of stuff. You know, as a politician said today, they can't, right? And I'm going to nick this off them. You know, they couldn't even sleep straight in their own bed. You know what I mean? It's literally that's Tottenham Hotspur.
Don't mess. My word.
It's true.
Dave, I've got to say, Dave, any normal group or whatever that owned this football club, right, would go down and they'd invest correctly to come back up again, right? I wouldn't trust this lot. I wouldn't trust them to do anything, mate. Honestly, you can't. The years of evidence are there. Mm-hmm. They'll do the bare minimum, right? The bare minimum
maximum reward
Exactly. Yeah.
If I bumped into any of the board and I asked them for the time and they gave it to me, the very first thing I'm doing is asking a normal person, a normal fan, what is the time? Because I don't trust them to even tell me the right time. That's it. I don't trust them to tell me the right time.
Dave knows their shit, Bri. He knows their shit, mate. He hates them as well. Let me tell you. Big
Right,
up to you,
before
Dave.
we move on to the next question, mate, because I know you're on the wrong screen.
Yeah.
Here you go. We have a super chat.
Big up to our user. Big up to you, our user. Thank you very much. He says, I own a van with an advert, Enoch out, drive in London.
Yeah, I mean, we've had loads of ideas. We wanted to get a massive projector and then beam it from somewhere, so it was on the actual south stand with all that glass saying Enoch, Levy, whatever it may be. Even with a van, you get a van. Driving London's one thing, but the main attention you get on it was on a match day. And what do the fuckers do? They close the roads.
Yeah.
So you can't get it around Tottenham. You could go around. You go around other parts of London. They unless they're Spurs fans, they won't care. I get the idea, and it's a great idea, but they get around it. If we want to get the projector, one of the things we really looked into in my group is we were going to get a load of drones and fly them over the stadium, and have loads of things on it. But you can't get caught with flying things over the stadium because it's a no-fly zone because of Heathrow and everything.
Yeah,
you actually cannot fly anything over the stadium at any height. So, like I said, we have looked into so many things, but what you got to remember as well, even our small group, we were self-funded. We didn't go and get a GoFundMe page or whatever. And like I said, so many times we plan things, but all these plans are focused on people being with us and people actually attending. We had so many, I'm not going to go into the ideas, but we had so many ideas that would have had major impact, and I mean major. But it was all dependent on the numbers. And the numbers didn't come with our lot. So we couldn't do it. If we get them with this new thing, expect a load of things that people wouldn't have even thought of. They're all there ready to go.
Yeah. And can I say, my experience with driving in London, hire a van, advert, Enoch out, drive in London, that means you'll be doing a mile in about 4 hours.
Yeah. Just one question. We're going through the comments question. Just a very quick question. Just yes or no. Once this group that we're trying to sort out comes up, would you be willing to pay something like £10 a year for membership if you're fully committed to Enoch out? Just yes or no. Would you be prepared to pay £10? Everything will be documented. Everything will be seen. But this is the thing. We need people.
Oh, here's the first one. Hang on. Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
2, 3.
Hang on. Yeah. Yes.
4, 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
6.
Stone cold. Yes. Yes.
There you go. Listen.
Oh my God, the chat's going too fast.
Go, there's the diamond. There's the diamond.
There you go. They're all diamonds, Bryce.
They
Sue's
are.
an extra special diamond, but they're all
Here we
diamonds.
go.
At
Here we
China
go,
One.
right?
There you go. Look. Big up
Like
to
I
Pat.
said, let me
Get in,
just-
son.
Please. I'm being deadly serious. When I say this. I've done it on so many shows. Tom Kingman messaged me. We're now talking. Just from me sending my email. I'm not joking. Anyone wants to be a part of this and have ideas or can bring anything, whether you live in London or not, please email me. My email is there again, my personal email, and I will get back to you. But it's great to see that it's an overwhelming yes.
Here you go, mate. I paid
So
£10
people are prepared. That's a good start. That's a great start.
There you go.
Yes.
Well, I think there's no doubt that the people that come in this chat, Brian, you know, you got plenty of support there at the end of the day. And on top of that, mate, you got me and the sheriff, and you got Matt.
Exactly.
So what more could you want, mate? Do you know what I mean? Big up to you, Dave. Let me go on to the next question.
Yeah, here we go.
Right, okay. People from the club will also subscribe to it as well to monitor what you are planning. See, that sort of stuff, I don't know. How do you get round that, Brian? Is it like you say, you dedicate the YouTube channel to ideas and...
There will be, obviously, this is
whatever.
why, you listen, I can't stop that happening. I can't stop that. There's no way, unless you have some kind of massive internet thing or powerful thing that can detect where people IPs address and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
There's no way of filtering it. There is no,
Right.
unfortunately, there is no way of filtering it.
Joey, by the way, Joey in the chat, I don't know if you spoke to Joey, Brian, but I know how.
I've spoken to him on chats, but never spoken to him.
Well, perhaps you could give permission for him to send you a message because you'd be in the chat, because I know Joey is well into the Enoch out.
Listen,
Right.
have you got his number?
Yeah, I've got his number, yeah. Yeah, he's
Send
in
him-
it.
I'm telling you now, live on screen, send him my number.
Right. Okie dokie, I will do. Joey, you get in touch with Brian for anything that you might want to speak about as regard to maybe this side of the pond, you know, because I know you've got some great ideas, Joey. So, yeah.
So,
do
mate,
that.
honestly, everything is welcome. Going back to the club might know.
Yeah.
Well, if they need to know, if they do that, what you got to remember, the club can know. But if we have numbers larger than change for Spurs or around that 3,000 mark, whatever, they can know whatever the fuck they want. They ain't going to be able to stop it. If it was like the 200 of us that me and Mas were regularly there for, it's quite easily self-contained. If via this membership or subscription, whatever jazzy name you want to give it, these are people that are committed to do things. This is with people that are like, right, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's get this battle over and done with and win the war and get what we all want. The board can't, like what happened with Sugar. There were so many thousands, they can't stop it. If it's things organised within the stadium, they may know about it. It could be chants, it could be banners, it could be... But there's so many things that could be done. If they know, they won't be able to stop a damn thing. That's the thing. You're never going to be able to stop it 100% infiltration from anything you do in life. So it's got to be done wisely. And one of the big things that my man Tom Kingman just said is what will happen is it will be a Telegram group, not a WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
Because Telegram, you literally, and Telegram, you can have a lot more people in a group than WhatsApp.
Right. Got
I
you.
don't even know what that is.
Telegram is like WhatsApp.
Yeah, similar
But
thing.
instead of having 250 people in a chat maximum, you can have 2,500.
Oh,
Yeah, and with 110 of you in here, by the way, yeah, you could hit the like button if you don't mind. I know I've asked again, but see if you can get the stream to 100 likes tonight. That'll be very nice. You're not far away, 20 odd. All right, and hit the sub button. Tottenham on
Sub
tour,
and like.
Spurs corner, and sub to us as well. Sorry,
Support
Brian, go on.
the
I
show.
interrupted.
No, I was just about to say the email's there. I just hope people do email me and say they're on board. But like I said, the great thing is that we've just taken from it is people are more than prepared to pay.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely people are 100% willing to support the cause.
Exactly.
And I think that it needs to become a more organized professional movement.
That's it.
And I think it's more than just protesting. I think there's plenty of other avenues that we can go down to put pressure on the club once we formalize it and there's actually a membership there with real people that back it, and there's and they realize how serious we are as a movement.
And can you two talk about that, or I'm not going to ask you, have you been, but could you two
I
talk about...
blocked Brian on WhatsApp. I have to unblock
Well,
him.
I'm saying no more then. That's enough for me.
He's joking.
You don't
joking.
need to say no more.
Cheers, Sporting Journey.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Yeah, no, me and Matt.
Yeah. Listen. You've both got my number, right?
Of course.
I don't want to know the ins and outs, right? I'm sure you'll tell me when you're ready, right? But
People will know.
Please keep us in the loop with
Look, once everything's
how we
set,
can
once everything is set, board set, direction set, everything, the first thing we're doing is recruiting all the YouTubers that feel this way.
help. Okay.
Straight off the
we're all
bat,
in groups together. All you got to do is put it in the group.
Next thing, make a website, other
Correct.
thing, create a database of people. Another
Correct.
reason, make a payment system so people can subscribe and register
Correct.
their interest, etc., etc., etc.
Correct.
All I'm sure when Brian and the team put it all together, there's plenty of things that are going to happen, and everyone's going to know exactly what they need to do,
Sweet.
how to do it.
And what
everything.
all I'm saying is, from our point of view, we're tiny, right? But
It doesn't matter.
we
It doesn't
need
matter.
to get the message out there, and we need to make sure that the people that watch this channel predominantly watch it because they like it, but at the same time, yeah, they need to understand that we are ENIC out to the hilt, and we are to the hilt with it. We've had enough.
We shouldn't need to do this, right? There's
Can you start that one, Mark?
right.
Mate,
Yeah.
I can do that.
We shouldn't need to do this because there's 4 or 5 big trust-like organizations, right? And none of them, right? And THST being the more famous one, have done anything, right, to promote the views of the ENIC out movement at all, even if fans want it, right? Really, in reality, none of us should need to do anything. The trust should be using their power and influence and their membership, right, to be doing everything that we're doing in the interests of Tottenham Hotspur, not being in cahoots with the club, right? They should be there as a organization, right, doing multiple things, helping the disabled supporters, helping the elderly fans, right? Organizing travel to and from games, all that sort of stuff, working with the club to do charity events, and I'm all for that. Lock yourselves out. But what they also should be doing is holding the club to account, right, about the wrong things they do that isn't in the interests of Tottenham Hotspur, right? It's called Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust, not Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust in allegiance with ENIC and Levy and everything else that happens.
Matt, what are you talking about? They do send strongly worded emails.
Oh,
what are you talking about? They do that. They even complained a little while ago that the minutes of their meetings got taken out and made a whole hullabaloo about it. Yet they've never once showed up for a protest or announced it or said, right, guys, this is what's going on. They did a Newcastle United a protest against Newcastle United's takeover bid from the now owners, right next to a protest that we had going on. So we're sitting there protesting against our owners, but the Tottenham Hotspur, I repeat that, Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust next to us protesting against Newcastle's owners.
And that's got anything to do with us because...
But then the sing up, show up, stay up, they quote retweet, we'll be there, they have our support. It's like, listen, you carry on with, like Maz said, what you do for disabled fans or fans with terminal illnesses or fans that have got ticketing issues. You do a wonderful job, an incredible job. But when it comes to the actual footballing aspect, you're absolutely horrifically useless. Horrifically useless.
Yep. Fair. Go on, Maz. You're on mute, Maz.
Sorry, I figured out what they are, right? It suddenly occurred to me. What THSC actually is an ENIC Levy charity. Like that that's what they do. They support ENIC by doing all these things. They're like the freelance arm of ENIC. That's what they're exactly what they are. Waste of space.
Fair play. Fair play. Right, we're going to miss out the sporting journey. We've asked that question earlier on. Now, the next question's from Rudolph.
Okay.
Right, and me and Rudolph have had a bit of backwards and forwards on this channel before. Anything nasty. I just try and answer anything he puts out there. And
sorry. Oh, no, that's right, mate. No, sorry.
He's done it. Yeah, there we go. So it's on his question, says Rudolph. Why do we want ENIC out? They are spending money, just appointing the wrong people to spend it, surely. Go ahead.
First of all, if he's still in the chat, Rudolph, are you the Rudolph that follows me on Twitter? Are you? I'll let people go, then I'll have my say on this question.
Right. the thing I was going to say about it, if they'd have spent it wrongly, how long have they been here? 25 years?
Ish, yeah.
Yeah. If they'd have done it, say, 5 or 6 years out of 25 they've been here, you could say, oh, well, that was just bad luck. You thought they were good players. But when it happens consistently and repeatedly for 25 years,
I'm going to update the question mark, by the way, because Rudolph did send in another message and added a bit on the end. So I don't want him to think I've put the wrong question up. All right, that is the question, the full
Okay,
question.
it's not the Rudolph on Twitter. Okay, cool.
But no, 5 or 6 years that they'd guffed up on signings. That's, you're not going to get every signing right. No club does. Look at Liverpool; they wasted 90-odd million, and he's not been very good. Or was it 100 million? I don't know. And he's not been very good this season.
Oh, Wirtz.
Yeah. And he's not been very good. So, the odd one. Yeah. When you got 25 years of evidence, to me, it culminates when Poch has had us that far from winning the league title, and the stadium was more important to them than winning the Premier League, which is why we went 518 days, whatever it was, without signing nobody. That tells you a lot about them. I mean, surely, if we get relegated this season, put it this way, if it was any other business, and they were failing like we are, there'd be a vote with no confidence. But the trouble is, the board are all in cahoots with them, so that'll never happen. That will never, ever, ever happen. And if you were running a business and it was failing like we are, then a sensible boss of a business will look at itself and think, right, how can I improve? How can I do things better, whatever business you're in? Mm-hmm. But they don't. I mean, the first step would be to get football people in there that actually know what they're doing, not accountants and property developers. So honestly, like I give up with Enoch because, especially since the stadium opened, it's been like that. And that was meant to be the game changer. That stadium. I don't know if you got anything to add to that.
Maz?
I should agree with everything you said, Sheriff, to be honest with you. It's no, I echo everything you said.
Okay. Let me extend on this. So first of all, like you said about having the right people in, the one correct director of football we had was Paul Mitchell, the one that was actually identifying top tier talent and bringing them to the football club. Even he says my dream job turned into a nightmare. There is all the you can say Enoch have spent money, and they have spent money on players. There's no denying it, but it's never target A or the elite player. It's always right. We've sold one big player. We can get 2 or 3 players for the money we got for that. Every year we're going to spend big this summer, and year after year after year after year they leave us short. They leave us short. They keep getting this wrong. They're meant to be great business people, yet they don't let the football people on board who have footballing experience. We heard after Jose, when Levy did his lovely end of season message, we've lost our DNA. The next thing we're going to do is hire a progressive attacking footballer manager. And we've even had a director of football we hired and kept his job when he said, I hate the January window, with a passion in Steve Hitchin. But he was given to and then they have the nerve to say we spent £250 million wrongly. I'll tell you now, if anyone at Enoch Holdings or Tavistock lost them £250 million, straight away, they're gone. There's no ifs, buts, and maybes. Out you go. And if there's something that's not doing well at ENIC, they will push them out immediately and get the best of the best to fix the problem. The best of the best. And in the times we've really needed, you got to remember, we got told a few years ago, we need to be FFP compliant. We need to get ducks in a row so we are within FFP and get an advantage, and then we can take advantage. Then all of a sudden, PSR. Got to be PSR compliant as well. Now we can spend north of £300 million without even coming close to it. We are in a worse state than we were last season. Injuries and everything. And do nothing about it. So we waited ages and ages to have this advantage where we could outspend teams. Then we are there where we can do it. But no, we are going to wait because the injured players are coming back. That worked out well, didn't it? Hit and hope. Then he goes on about 33 transfers only being made in January. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't know there was some kind of rule that if one club signs one player and another club signs two players, Spurs can only sign one player. What's the point of getting told we need to have this advantage? Then we can really go and absolutely obliterate everyone. Not by spending like we won't go and spend 100 million on a player like a Man City and Arsenal or Chelsea would, or United. Well, we're not there yet. We could, but this board won't do it. But there are teams that couldn't compete in the market because they're so close to FFP and PSR. Where we're so far away from it, this is the advantage. We're right. Hardly anyone can spend. We can now have an advantage. We can now make the impact that we've been telling the fans that we want the impact. And they do absolutely nothing with it. And yes, they're giving them money, but how, like Sheriff said and Maz said, how many times do we have to give the money to incompetent people to go get these players in? And when the manager said, I want player A, these are my player A, they never get them. You know, it's like, let's find the cheaper version. Let's find the younger version. Let's find, because the manager doesn't hold any authority. Look what Conte said.
I just want to address one point, and I'm flagging a bit because I'm a bit tired from the day. But Bruno says, totally agree, Brian. Spending has been poor, so we all agree spending has been poor. Yes, they are great business people. Well, are they great business people?
They're not,
because how many seasons have they posted profit? Only one season in 2019 have they posted good profit. Every other season has been losses. Now, I know they've been writing down the stadium and things like that, but what they've actually done is leveraged our money and the name of Tottenham Hotspur, basically leveraging debt to fund their investments. They've also taken out millions and millions of pounds out of the various different entities that they've created off the back of Tottenham Hotspur, right? Mm-hmm. So they can enrich themselves and their portfolio and the infrastructure projects and stuff like that. The reality is they haven't done it with their own money. They've done it with our money, right? So, you could say, yeah, okay, you're a good business person because you've managed to build a stadium, right? And you've built, you've brought in people to do F1 and Skywalks and NFL and all of that sort of stuff, right? But the actual, what has been effectively been their output? Why do we think they're such great business for people? When you look at
the good thing they've done for their business, right, is they bought a club for £22 million and it's now worth £3.5 billion.
But a lot of companies have done that.
I know, but that's the stuff they've done good, but that benefits them. I don't give a monkey's
but one of the reasons why that's happened, right, is because, excuse me, because they've been allowed to build this huge infrastructure project in London, right? London is vastly more wealthy than other parts of the UK, right? Yep. It's not even comparable how wealthy London is to other parts of the UK.
You only got to look.
Birmingham and Manchester don't even come close to how wealthy London is, right? So a byproduct of us being a London club and London prices going through the roof, right, and them lobbying government, right, to build do their infrastructure projects in Tottenham Hotspur and enrich that area, right? It's because of that, effectively.
Let me just add a couple. Oh, sorry, Mario.
No, I was going to say, there's this narrative that's built up over the last 5-6 years about from various YouTube channels that look at Tottenham Hotspur and they think all of a sudden, because they know a little bit of accounting, right, and right that all of a sudden they can rationalize everything and say, oh, look how good Tottenham is. I remember one specific YouTuber saying, oh, it's great that we're only 3 or 4% down this year as opposed to the year before. Like that was some kind of a justification as to why we should be happy with our lot at Tottenham Hotspur. What a load of nonsense.
Yeah.
Right? And it's that type of rhetoric, right, that's confused, right, and the fan base, right, and led a large proportion, right, of the online fan base, because I don't know what the match going fan base, how much they pay attention to the YouTube channels, but has led them down the garden path. And it's those people that have been consistently wrong about Tottenham Hotspur and how we'll do. And it's those people now, right, that have got mud on their faces because everything they've said, right, is in the mud because we're going to get relegated.
Yeah, so just a couple of things on the one, and it's on section 2, there's 2 points. Someone said it in the chat, and I meant to bring it up whilst I was saying my bit. What people have got to remember about as well, when we big time. Sonny? Did you find the remake? Please tell me you did, brother. And I will say, when people I can't remember who said it in the chat. If you're in the chat, please say it because you're bang on the money. When people talk about us spending money, then you need to look at our net spend, because we may spend, but then you look at our net spend, and we've probably spent 10, 15 million more than we received. So we're not spending our own money. We are just reusing money coming in. We have the advantage to blow teams out the water because of this massive gap we have from PSR and FFP. We don't strengthen the team. We replace. You look at our team, we haven't upgraded anyone. I can't remember the last time we signed someone that was an actual upgrade on the person that went out. I simply cannot remember a single one. You look at it, and I keep bringing this one up. You look at Carl Walker. Carl Walker, we sold, and him and Neville are the best 2 right backs to play in the Premier League history. No 2 ways about it. Sold him for 50 million. We had just signed one of and Dave, you've just mentioned, I'll go on to my second point that Dave has just brought out. Leicester have just been confirmed tonight they're playing League One. And why I mention Leicester is Craig put up a tweet just to get your heads around this about what going down does. The club with the highest turnover ever to get relegated was Leicester. Around 200 million was their turnover to keep the club running. Ours is 550 million. So when you think about Leicester now, who are now League One bound,
in free fall,
in a complete free fall, and they've won a Premier League and an FA Cup, our turnover is over double theirs, and people still don't see the issue. But getting back to Carl Walker, we sold the greatest right back in our Premier League history for us. He'll go up there as one of the best right backs the club has had. And we had Kieran Trippier, and our treatment of Kieran Trippier was disgusting.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking disgusting. He needed surgery all season.
Yeah.
But we played him. And then what we did is we go, do you know what? Serge Aurier's the answer. When Serge Aurier wasn't the answer, we said, do you know what? Matt Doherty. Jose Mourinho, of all people, said, get me Matt Doherty. That will solve it. Then we went and got Jed Spence with Conte. We all know what happened with Jed Spence. That didn't work. Then we said, you know what? Let's buy Emerson Royale. That didn't work. And then finally we bought Pedro Porro. So we sold a right back for 50 million, but spent over 120 million trying to replace him. That's how bad. You buy cheap, you buy twice, and in Carl Walker's replacement, you buy 5 times. Because rather than going, right, we've got the money, Harry Kane, get £86 million, obviously over €100. Richarlison and Solanke for over the price we paid for Harry Kane. This football club buy the wrong people, well over inflated prices because they can put them on cheaper wages. When we signed Solanke, spend an extra 15 million, we could have got a cream of the crop £80 million striker. Why did we do it? Because that striker would demand big wages. So we buy big. And it's just we don't buy people who say, oh, do you know what, you'll really suit the system. We need a striker. So we'll buy a striker. Doesn't matter. Look, people, when we signed Solanke, I was quite excited. But the only reason I was quite excited is he'd had that one good season with Brighton. He hadn't Bournemouth. He hadn't got injured. And the season that we signed him, because of the season we signed him, he was number 1 in the Premier League for headed goals. So he was an aerial threat. What do Spurs do? Buy him, but don't buy any wingers that can cross. So you're buying a player like Soldado. We scouted Soldado because he scored over 20 goals in the La Liga 5 years in a row, which is very impressive no matter who you are. But the reason he got that is he played in a 4-4-2 and he played off a big man like Crouch and Defoe, not as big as Crouchy. But then we'll buy him and go, right, we scouted you because you scored over 20 La Liga goals 5 years in a row. But now what we're going to do is you're going to play in a 1 and you're going to make space for on-running midfielders. Why did we get him? Sergei Rebrov. We bought him to be our number 1 striker, like the goal scorer, when the whole world knew he was the creator like Teddy Sheringham behind Shevchenko. But we buy you and say, do you know what? This is how you played and this is why everyone wanted you. But now that you've come to the football club, fuck that. Fuck that. What we're going to do is make you play a completely different way. That is why we didn't sign you.
We ruined Rebrov.
We absolutely, mate, and Soldado. Yeah. I will die on the hill that Soldado didn't fail us. We failed Soldado. Yeah, what is the point of signing a defender that plays in a 2 and does it exceptionally well in La Liga and go, you come to Spurs, you're going to change your whole game frame? Why did we scout him? Why did we scout a striker if we were playing a 1 up top that plays 1 up top? Because they can get it cheap.
It's madness.
You know, and the thing is with those 2 strikers specifically, you could tell they had quality about them, like their touch on the ball, their vision, the passes they would make and stuff like that. When you look at and contrast to what we got now, where we spent 60 million on Richarlison or 55 or whatever, and 65 on Solanke, and the ball comes to them and it just bounces off of them, or they miscontrol it. You know, it's like what
shocking, mate.
Utter disgrace of forwards we've got at the moment. If we do stay up, I really hope there's some kind of inquest as to why Solanke and Richarlison are such bad footballers at the club. Like, they should say to Solanke, you know what, off you go. Yeah.
Love it, Sue. Love it.
Yeah, but I remember when we signed Soldado, I was straight on YouTube looking at his highlights, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
But it didn't explain on that he played as part of a 2.
There you go, yeah.
And he was stuck up there on his own.
But they come to Spurs and we destroy them as people, and then they're never the same.
And that is exactly
I like Rebrov when we signed him as well.
Mate, when we signed Rebrov, I was over the goddamn moon. I was like, after what he did with Shevchenko, don't get me wrong, Shevchenko was an absolute world-class striker. Oh. That was a world-class partnership. When we signed Rebrov, I was like, do you know what? The rest of the team may be not up to the standard, but if we can find a striker that can click with him, like Sheringham Klinsmann, like Kane's son, we could be in major business goal-wise. We could be in major, but no, you're going to be the main striker. You're going to be our number 1. And do you know what? Glenn Hoddle had him. And if anyone I thought, right, do you know what? Glenn Hoddle's going to love this guy. If they can get him, nope, we're going to hang you out to dry. And whereas other people do it, like the filth, they had Thierry Henry, who played as a winger out in Italy, but Arsene Wenger at Monaco had him as a striker. You're a striker, you're a striker. Turns him into, should have won the Ballon d'Or. For me, the best player to ever play in the Premier League, hands down, and it's not even close. I think he's absolute, mate. He is absolute, undeniably brilliant. But no, we'll sign people like Soldado, Rebroff, and others. And Archie Gray right now will be like, we haven't got a right back. We haven't got centre backs, but you know what? Off you pop. You go here, you go there. He's like I call him Google Maps street guy, because that's all we do. We pick him up and plonk him somewhere. It's what we do. This is what this club does. And there would be people, if there were Tottenham men, football men on that board, they'd be like, what are you doing? If you're going for a striker that plays in a 2, make sure you get a 2. If you want a striker that plays on a 1, go get a striker that has done it. But no.
I agree with Tom 81R. Hoddle was let down by us. We didn't really give him enough of a chance to build something.
There you go.
Do you know what? He was let down massively. I agree. But do you know what? I'm always dead against. I really don't like former greats coming back to manage us. I really don't, because they have such a... Glenn Hoddle, obviously, is God to Spurs fans. People will say he's the greatest player to ever play for us. I didn't get to see him. People know Gaza, but I understand why people say it about Hoddle. But then he came, and near the end, it was rough. And not saying that it's damaged his reputation, but that managerial part, people will say, "Oh, absolutely fucking brilliant footballer," but you know what, manager? It just weren't right. The first thing, like I said,
we didn't know properly what ENIC were like.
Exactly.
Now we know. You know,
mate, the sign was clear.
Yeah.
As soon as they came in, you look at people now. The new boards come in. They show a marquee signing. They go, even Manchester City. Here you go, have Robinho. Robinho wouldn't have touched Manchester City till they came in, but they go, here you go. Here's a top player. We sacked George Graham, the devil. Although I was pissed off, we sacked him. He'd won us a trophy. We're in a semi-final of a cup. George Graham always had the way. Listen, his Arsenal roots were undoubted. But he always did it at Arsenal, and he always said it. First, I get the defence sorted. If you don't concede, you don't lose. And then he builds up. But the very first thing ENIC did to pull the wool over everyone's eyes was, I'm going to hire the devil to bring back God. And didn't support him one bit. And it should have been the first. People didn't look at it like, that was their first move. It's like, oh my God, ENIC are amazing. Look what they've done. And now you look at it, there's so many lines in the sand moments.
Say that again. You can say that again, Brian.
Any more questions, mate?
As a what?
Any more questions?
There's one more question, if that's okay. One more question. And then there's one for Brian at the end, which he's probably seen, but I'll bring that up for him if he can answer that as in detail or as Harry wants to. Just a big up first to a user again for the super chat. We appreciate it, mate, and thank you very much for that. Spurs Glory says, why did the majority of the fan base want and got Poch out? There you go.
I didn't. Let's get that in there.
Oh, I was waiting for that to be the first answer. I didn't.
because the fan base was utterly delusional by that point. Madness.
So
they believe the narrative, right? They believe the narrative, right? And from look, Poch built an amazing team, and we didn't back him for 2.5 years in the transfer window. Or two, was it? How many windows was it?
518 days, so a year and a half.
Yeah, a year and a half. Sorry, not 2.5 years. So the writing was on the wall in that season when they started doing bad. And what they should have done is said when he did start bad that season, they should have just doubled down and backed him. A bit like what all the like Arsenal did with Arteta. Doubled down, backed him, and got him the players that he needed. But I think the fan base bought into the narrative that he couldn't get us over the line because of that cup final. Notwithstanding the fact that they sold one of the greatest midfielders we've ever seen at Tottenham Hotspur in Moussa Dembele. They ripped the soul out of the team when we sold Moussa Dembele. That was the start of the downfall.
Yeah.
Before the cup final, when we sold Dembele, was the start of the downfall, right? And people forgot that. They didn't remember that we signed people like Moussa Sissoko. What was his name? Is it not Sissoko? Was it Sissoko?
Yeah, we signed Sissoko.
Yeah,
Sissoko.
Instead of Sadio Mane, because they wouldn't pay 10,000 a week for Sadio Mane.
Exactly. They didn't back him. They bought in like Lo Celso and Ndombele and stuff. Actually, they bought in Lo Celso was it on loan initially, and then Poch got sacked, and then we signed him permanently when Joe. So they didn't back him at all. They didn't help him rebuild that team at all, and I think the fan base forgot it. They didn't. At that point, I knew what ENIC were. I knew what ENIC were when we didn't back Redknapp. And it just confirmed to me what they were when they had that amazing team in the 2016-2017 season, and they still didn't build a team around Kane. Look at Kane now, what he's doing at Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Even when he's doing it in the Champions League, he looks phenomenal at Bayern Munich. Right? Now, people say, it's a Farmers League and all of that, but the guy's broken every record out there. And he's doing it in the Champions League as well, showing what quality he is. And we didn't build a team around him. We didn't build a team around Bale.
No, we destroyed it and sold it for parts.
If Harry Kane does not win the Ballon d'Or, if Harry Kane does not win the Ballon d'Or this year, then it's fixed.
Yeah, we've had, luckily, two of the world's elite players, right? I don't care what anyone says. To me, Kane is world class. He's elite level. Bale was certainly world class and elite level, right? And we never built a team around them. So fans bought into the ENIC narrative. That's what they are. They're very good salesmen. They've destroyed our history and they made fans believe in the wrong things. And that's why the fans turned on Poch. Not just Poch. They turned on Jose. They turned on Conte. Every good manager we have, they turn on.
So I'll just add to this. I actually don't think the majority did turn on Poch. I think they were getting restless with it. That once again, them not backing him. If anyone in our Premier League era has deserved a blank checkbook and said, off you go, what do you want? And at the time when we left the lane, it literally would have been big up. It would have been literally 3 players. 3 extra players of an elite quality. That team would seriously challenge for a few more years and maybe have crossed the line. With Poch, obviously, one thing I will say is when I heard the news that he'd been sacked, I had my iPad at booking.com and I forgot that there was a massive meeting of all the big wigs of North America, and I chucked my iPad straight at the door where their meeting was and smashed my iPad. And they came out and they were like, what the hell has gone on? And the team around them just said, Bryce just found out that their manager's been sacked. And they went, oh, okay, carry on. Because they knew that they knew how much Spurs meant to me. I did it again when Christian Eriksen fucked up and Man City scored that goal at Manchester City. I smashed my iPad, the iPad before, and I didn't know for 15 minutes that it was disallowed. People like Brian got disallowed. I was like, oh, shut up. And people kept saying, so I checked. I was like, oh, thank God, we're in the semi-finals. I don't think people wanted Poch out. Poch, when that happened, and also from what records are saying, when you look at during the stadium being open, Jose had actually gone to Daniel. I'm about now if you want me. And it was a pure vanity project because he was never going to get the money that he always gets. But Mr. Levy and his ego and his vanity, I can get the manager I've wanted for 20 years, the best, the special one, but then not back him. I would have been I was mortified when Poch left. Absolutely mortified. And it all turned, don't get me wrong, his last season, our away form was crap. But what do you expect from a man that's had to run a club with the same players for a year and a half, and they're all running on fumes? They're all on empty, because I've said it a million times again, there are so many in the Spurs team, whether they're good players or not, they are overplayed and undervalued. And when I say undervalued, I don't mean financially. I mean, you look at our squad before, there's no rotation. If these players, look at Kane when he weren't ready for the Champions League final. Don't matter, it's Harry Kane. If you're fit, you play. If you're fit, you play. It doesn't matter how fit. I wanted Harry Kane to be on the bench. Only reason, if it had gone to extra time and penalties, I'd rather Harry Kane come on when everyone else was shattered, and they're like, oh shit, Kane's come on right now, and the defence will be shitting themselves. But obviously, we played him. This club have played players over and over again, like Bentancur. We rushed Bentancur back. We rush players back too soon, because if they're fit, they play, because they're senior players. There's no competition for players. There's no rotation, because the squad's good enough to say, right, do you know what? You need a rest. We're focusing on this game. You can go on We can't do it because we buy such shit. Spurs have had before a great 11 when all is fit. But as soon as it comes to injuries or substitutions, then we're in trouble. You look at all the other big teams, they've got a bench where subs can change the game for them. Like have an instant impact and do damage. And you look at their bench and go, oh my God, that's a bit tasty. We look at it and go, okay, well, what are they going to do? What can they bring?
It wasn't so long ago, Brian, where we couldn't even fill the bench.
Yeah.
We had like 6 or sat on there.
Yeah, and 2 goalkeepers.
Yeah.
What other big club does this? What other big club has a subs bench where you're like, what the hell?
Who are these? I've never heard of him. He's obviously in the youth team. You know, it was all youth players. And then I'm sure there was one game. How many subs? How many are you allowed on the bench now? Is it 7 or 8?
I think it might be 9.
Whatever it is, we had less than that. Because we couldn't even fill.
The thing is, we could. I think Tudor was trying to make a point.
Oh, all right.
I can't even fill a subs bench. They could have put more youth players on, but they don't even listen to that. They don't even. I mean, you've got to say, you look at it, whether we've been top 4 challenging, league challenging, Europa League challenging, or struggling right now at the bottom. January is a massive time where you can have an impact. Other teams go, right, let's make it. Look at Man City. Man City didn't go big. They saw 2 players with release fees. And we're like, right, we're having them.
You know what? Even West Ham.
West Ham, yeah. They backed their back. They're like, right, how can we help you? We need more players in the squad. But we don't want to panic buy. Well, if now is not a time to panic buy, I don't know when is.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Now, I'm going to say, these 2 chaps here at the bottom, don't worry about us because it's our show, but these 2 chaps at the bottom have been on here and give their time for just about 3 hours, right? So make sure anyone that's in here gets over and subscribes to both their channels, Tottenham on Tour for Brian and the Spurs Corner for Maz. That is important to me, if not anyone else, please, tonight.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's important to all of us. Important to all of us. Now, I think we've talked about these wankers enough for one night.
Yep.
Just briefly, before you go, Maz, I know you're tired. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I know how long you've been at work today and probably are still working as we stream as well. Because I can see the different lights flashing every so often going to different screens. Listen, 1 minute. First of all, Brian, you know what I'm going to ask you. 1 minute, Brian.
Yeah, but first of all, can I just answer that one that you had started for me about the flags in Toronto?
Shit, yeah.
Just very, very quickly, and then we can do it.
I was going to bring you to that at the end.
I will say, like I said, Roy, I don't know if you heard me before. As of this season's over, plans are afoot to target North America. And obviously the main American sport that can have the major impact is NFL for obvious reasons. But I've got people in certain states that go to NHL, that go to basketball, that go to baseball and ice hockey as well, and the MLS. These banners that I want to get done, and we're going to look into designs, they're going to be everywhere. So it's not just Toronto. I've got people in America. Most important ones, I've got people ready to take their flags that we create into the NFL games. Whether the camera picks it up or not, camera picks it up, it'll be absolutely brilliant. But if not, the main thing is the NFL see that angry Tottenham fans are going, because trust me, anyone goes for the NFL hate bad publicity. They hate it, and they are a huge organization that will swallow it whole. Like if they get pissed off with Tottenham and they say, right, that's it, we're cancelling the contract, paying Tottenham what's owed or whatever will be nothing to them. It will be small fry, the amount of money the NFL pulls out. So just to get them in NFL state, want to get them in all, but the main target is to get them across the NFL. Whether they get seen on camera is one thing, but the chief wigs at the NFL and at NFL HQs and Nike HQs in Oregon that I'm targeting. So everything in North America is fair game for me. I'm not holding back.
There you go.
Fair
Fair
play.
play, Brian. I hope that answers that for you, Roy. And I'm sure you can get in touch with Brian at any time with any questions. We'll stick his email up again on the outro of the show. Okay. I'll get Mark to get ready to do that. So he's heard me say it. Big up, Mark. We're going to wrap up very soon because I know Mark, Maz, Brian, you've got to get up in the morning. So I really appreciate your time. Brian,
Yes, sir.
minute, a flashback of a memory that makes you smile about Tottenham Hotspur. 1 minute.
Do you know what? I'm going to mention, but I'm going to go for a different one. I'm going to go for someone that understood this football club, that fit this football club hand in glove. And you all know who I'm talking about, because when it came to a certain NLD, went like this to the fans every single time. And no matter what, Rafa van der Vaart understood. There's players that understand this football club and have a deep love for this football club. Rafa van der Vaart, and I'll add Jan Vertonghen in this because Super Jan, and his connection with the fans and understanding of the football club was so deep. It was. He still says his biggest regret in his career was leaving Tottenham Hotspur. He absolutely adores the football club, and watching him do that to the Arsenal fans in the North London derby that we won 3-2, and the massive draw, the 3-3, which was a great game. Every time he scored, he goes mad to the Spurs fans, and then as he gets to the Arsenal section, it was just shh, shh, shh. Rafa van der Vaart. I wish we had players with his heart, his drive, his passion, and that is a guy that knew every single fibre what it meant as a Spurs fan to be a Spurs player, and he understood what it was to be a Spurs fan. So that would be mine.
There you go. And I hope you lot in the chat appreciate this. If you did see it or whether you didn't, a legend of Tottenham YouTubers giving you an example of what makes him smile at Tottenham Hotspur. Maz, you got a minute? Give me a minute. Whatever you want, mate. Something that makes you smile when you think about Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah. I think it was. There's two moments. The first moment that comes into my head was Klinsmann overhead kick versus Everton.
I was there.
I was
there. I was there as well. I went absolutely bananas. I'll never forget that because I was there with my old man, and we just went bananas. I've never seen anything like it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I remember, and I'll tell you why, because it's fresh in my mind because I was watching them today, but although I've forgotten is it Klinsmann first game? Was it Sheffield Wednesday or Sheffield United?
Sheffield Wednesday away.
Yeah, right. Now, what I remember about that goal was Mickey Hazard playing, right?
Yep.
Now, I remember turning to my old man and saying, "Who's that player, Mickey Hazard?" And he was like, "Let me tell you, son." And he obviously told me all about how good Mickey Hazard was. But I remember watching Mickey Hazard spread it to the wing. I think Adderton crossed the ball in, and Klinsmann, done a brilliant header to score. But when he done his dive, I remember that, and that was another happy moment, because what made that moment special, aside from the dive, was watching how Klinsmann was pointing with his finger for Hazard to spray the ball to the wing to Anderton, right? And that connection that those players had, because it was a fantastic five, wasn't it? When Klinsmann was there,
Yeah.
that connection that they had was magical.
There you go. There's another one from Maz. I'm sure there's going to be plenty more, because he is being invited onto the Nostalgia Show, and he's got plenty of tales, I'm sure, that he's going to tell us about his youth and his dad and so on and so forth. Mark, I know you're surprised. I know you're surprised that I'm going to ask you.
Oh, I got to think of one quickly.
But Mark, another memory that comes into your head before the viewers disappear. I've got mine ready. Go on.
Oh, right. Mine is away at Anfield, 6th round of the Cup, Sheringham and Klinsmann 2-1. I was there in the Liverpool end. And I had to give my left arm to be in the away end, because Tottenham had the whole of that end.
Amazing.
There you go. Amazing. I don't even mind cutting you short on that, Mark, because just the word you said there sent a little shiver down me there, remembering that game. Mine's easy. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Winning the UEFA Cup at White Hart Lane in 1984. Being up in the shelf. I'll never forget it till the day I die. And I'll never forget feeling it till the day I die. And I'll come to you next, Mark. Is there anything else you want to say before I round off on tonight's show?
ENIC out.
Absolutely. I love it, Mark. It's two simple words from Mark there. Maz, anything else from you before we round off?
No, just thanks so much for having me, guys. I really enjoyed it. Sorry I started flagging near the end. I'm just old man feeling tired.
Hey, what are you talking about? It's 20 past 5. It's 20 past 5 in the afternoon. What are you talking about?
Do me a favour, Maz. You've done 3 hours and a bit.
But no, I share Sheriff's sentiment. ENIC out for sure.
There you go.
Just big up, before we go to Brian, big up Ellie.
Thank you, Ellie. Really
Cool,
appreciate it.
ENIC
Thanks
out.
for all your support and everything you do for the show. We really appreciate you. Thank you very much. That leaves Brian, really, doesn't it? I suppose.
Yep. So I've got my 4 that I do now, and we'll do for every stream. So it's in light of our brilliant two apps and websites. It's Rob Pickering. Bum bum ba. Website's never been so good. So good. And it's Lange piss off. Then it's the biggest word you've ever heard, and this is how it goes. Oh, supercalifragilistic fuck off Venkatesham. Then it's, and as always, ENIC out.